ROH wrestler Adam Cole, and you are listening to the podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com.
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or check us out on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now being broadcast in over 45 different countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler Eber.
Doug. And we welcome you to episode 203 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We are on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
You can follow us on Twitter at WNS Podcast, at WNS_Daniel, and at Tyler_Abear.
You can also find us on Twitch.tv/WNS Podcast. We'll be doing some video game streaming, having some good times. One of these days, we'll get back on it.
I haven't recorded any glitches.
No?
I've recorded a few glitches for Assassin's Creed.
Nice. Yeah, I heard that game was pretty glitchy. I heard if you got the season pass, they offered you like a free game as well.
What game? I got the
like
season pass.
Like Far Cry or something like that. I don't know.
The fourth?
I think.
How do you get this? Because I got the season pass.
I don't know.
No one told me this shit.
I'll have to ask.
Yeah, ask this. I need to know this.
Okay.
I need a free game.
I'll ask around and see.
I need a free game.
Yeah?
I got that shit.
Cool.
Hey, man, those glitches are cool, man. You got to see the videos. Like, I was hitting this guy with the sword, and I was right by a door or right by a building.
Mm-hmm.
He, like his body moved into a building, and he was, like, freaking out and stuff like that. And, like, you know how you can loot a person? I was looting his body through the wall. It was weird.
Body moving.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
I was playing, the other day I was playing 2K15, and you know how for the OMGs you have to build up, some of them you have to build up like over like 3 finishers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't noticed that
You
yet.
have to build up 3 for some of the OMGs. And I bring that up because I was trying to do the superplex to the outside of the ring, and you have to build 3 finishers for that. But I was trying to do it through a table that I set on fire, so I had to get 4 finishers. So I was like,
my God.
I set a table on fire, so I had to do that because you can only build 3 and store 3 at a time. So I set up a table, I set it on fire, and then I had to spin the match, keeping him away from the table, making sure he didn't fuck with anything. I finally build up all of the fucking finishers. I go to do the superplex to the outside, and in the cutscene that it showed, like the footage that it shows, like the fire goes, it doesn't show the fire in the scene whenever I'm putting him through the fucking table. And I spent like 25 minutes like building all this shit up. And like I set the table up right. He went through the table and everything. It's just that they cut the fire out of the footage, like whenever they show the cutscene to the outside.
Wow.
It's fucking
That's
weird.
Let's look at some highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I like when they said that after they showed the highlights. Let's look at some more. No?
Let's
We're
look
not
at
gonna-
these highlights. What action in these
Also,
highlights?
another thing I like that I noticed that when you're doing when you're jumping off the turnbuckle and say like they're on their back and they're like getting up on all fours, like you could do some dangerous shit. Like if it was in real life, like you jump and you hit them, like they're up and like they hit their body while they're getting up, and it looks a little vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very vicious. And Doug, I got what you meant as far as like going through the my career mode. I started going through some of that, and I got to where I got the NXT title, and Vicky was like, "Okay, you can either have this match, you can do a warm up, but I'll strip you of the title, or you can have,
Like you can defend the title and not make any progression.
Yeah.
You can do this other thing and make slight progression, and I'll strip you of the title. Or you can do this other thing and make another form of slight progression, and I'll also strip you of the title.
Yeah." And so they were like, "Let's see how well you do." So as soon as the bell rings, I'm like, "Okay, let's test this out." I hop out of the ring, grab a steel chair, hit him over the head, get myself disqualified.
Infinite loop. You can do as many times as you want.
Got 0 stars. The label was a disaster.
Right.
And then Vicky was like, "That was a good match. Let's see how you do next week."
And the only thing that moves is your heel meter.
Yes, I'm full blown heel.
I
Because
did
of
it
that.
6 times in a row, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, this isn't gonna stop." So I let her take the title.
Yeah, that's what I did as well. And then I had to get ready for something else. So I was like, okay, well, I'll play like 1 or 2 more, and then I got to go. But Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
I thought it was going to be a workaround. I was like, I'm going to retain this fucking title and keep it, but no.
Yeah, and I went through the create an entrance and do some of the move sets and stuff like that. I'm still kind of bummed that there's not more variety in the create an entrance.
Yeah.
But I have found a couple that I'm okay with. And I was kind of worried at first that since I created the character in the My Career mode, I was like, oh crap, I'm not going to be able to play as this guy, in like, custom matches like between me and Tyler. I'm not going to be able to play as my character. But I found out that like once your character gets to the Raw roster, you can then export him into the actual roster.
So what I did was I created him off the bat and
Yeah.
then imported him into My Career mode.
I probably should have done that, but because I was like, I spent all this time creating this guy and getting a look right that I'm okay with. And
But if you're in NXT and all that stuff, and you make changes to his moves and stuff, it doesn't translate into your other one that you created.
Mm-hmm.
So
How about the stats? Because if you beef up all the fucking stats in My Career, does that translate to your overall ranking? Your overall
so
score?
far not. I mean, I don't know. Nothing like transfers.
Okay.
So unless he's awesome in My Career mode, then you just import him to Raw or whatever and delete the other one.
But I am glad that I have that accelerator that came with the season pass, because I am terrible at doing missions within the match where it's like, oh, you have to store up 2 finishers and then pin him within 5 seconds of hitting your second finisher or something like that. Like, I'm terrible at stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I have the accelerator and I got all of the unlockables, I have 0 objectives. I can now just play through it and not have to worry.
Have
I
any of
see
y'all-
I'm unlocking everything.
Oh.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Have any of y'all played Showcase yet? I haven't.
No.
No, I haven't started. I've been dicking or I've played My Career stuff and then I'll play Universe mode. This sounds so lame, but it is. It's not like exciting or anything, but I'll just I'm the type of guy who will just put on like career mode.
Universe.
Universe, and I'll just play every fucking match on all the cards. Just go through.
Dude, me and you're the same. I do that the whole time.
I'll play every fucking match. I won't skip. I can play every match on all the cards and
Yeah.
And I even I haven't played with this guy in a while. I
Mhm.
switch and.
And actually, what's good?
I can do that for like hours and hours.
Yeah, because I know this game, like everyone I played as, is pretty much fun.
Yeah.
Really, and I like that.
That's cool. I think once I start going through the showcases, I'll probably do streaming on Twitch on that. But just because I haven't been playing that frequently, I think I've played like
You're a Destiny man.
I am. I'm still stuck in Destiny and.
Did you see the thing they posted about Destiny? There's gonna be a special gun only PS4
Yes.
people get, and it looks like it's a cool looking barrel looking gun.
It's a quad-barreled shotgun. It looks badass.
I guess Xbox is gonna get their own special
Nope.
thing. No,
They get nothing.
that's weird.
Well, that was the deal. I originally thought that Destiny was going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive game.
Yeah.
And then they said, no, it's gonna be on all platforms, but if you get the PlayStation 4 version, you get more. Like the PlayStation 4 has an extra map, extra weapons and stuff like that, so it gets more exclusive content.
One gets the shaft.
They do. So long, hard
It's only
shaft.
PS4 exclusive.
PS4
Not PS3?
exclusive.
No PS3.
Nope, no PS3. So, but yeah, pretty fun. But I want to get back into WWE 2K15. I want to play it and
That's all I
get
do
my money's
right
worth.
now when I get a chance. Well,
Yeah.
I need to. Well, when Sushan was down, we played a lot of Assassin's Creed, and I
Mhm.
need to unlock characters for Smash Brothers.
nice.
But I just find myself coming back to WWE because that's the game I play year round. So
Well, if you're doing that, we got to get you on Twitch. Yeah.
The thing that's so great about it is you can pick it up and play a match, or you can settle in and play a couple of hours. worth of
Marathon
matches.
mode.
It's so easy. If I'm I got 20 minutes, I'm I can throw a match on before I leave real quick or something.
Mhm.
yeah,
Good stuff. So welcome to the show. Got quite a bit to talk about. Got to dive into some feedback. Got to talk about Raw, hot topics, Q&A, all that good stuff. So I'm assuming you guys are going good, hanging in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's
Doug, you good?
I'm good.
Ready for the holidays?
I'm good.
Before you
Yeah.
know it. Oh,
So,
sorry. I know we're on the air and we're going to talk about this anyway, but
It's our show. We do what we want.
Well, Sushan was down, and we stayed
Dr.
at Daryl's house because they were gone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying some of that his alcohol in his bar or whatever. There was one thing he didn't have, and I know you're a big fan of this brand or one of them, but we tried Crown Apple.
I saw a commercial for that just the other day, and I'm like, I wonder if that's any good.
It is.
It was?
Yeah, in my
I might
opinion.
have to try it.
Sushan bought one. He left it in my room because he's like, I can't bring it back. So he's like, because his parents are weird. They freak out and all stuff. Even though that he's old enough, but like his culture is weird. His culture.
My roof, my rules kind of stuff.
Pretty much. So he left it there, and it's.
What was it?
Crown Apple.
Oh, okay.
But it's like I'm a wuss when it comes to alcohol. I'll admit that. But we found two things I can drink straight up: Crown Apple and Winter Jack.
Nice.
So I know I'm a wuss.
If you can drink it straight up,
I'm not a beer person.
Yeah, I can't. I can't stand the smell of beer. Just not a beer fan. Sorry, but yeah, let's dive on into some feedback. Well, Doug, what kind of drink are you?
I'm pretty much a beer guy. I don't really do wine or if I'm gonna like do liquor, like if I'm gonna do liquor, it's probably like whiskey shots with beer, like in between beers and stuff. Or if I'm gonna drink like strictly liquor, I probably do like a vodka or something.
That's cool. Nice.
Tyler's on the quest to find alcohol that doesn't taste like alcohol.
Yes, I am.
There's nothing wrong with getting a sweet or fruit drink.
No. I'm just saying, like,
you probably have to make that. What's it called? Well, if you make the right concoction of that jungle juice, I guess.
Mm-hmm. There was a drink that my fiance had when we went to Doomsday. That it was a sweet drink. It was really good. You couldn't taste too much alcohol in it. But I'll have to ask her what that was because it was pretty good.
Daryl had a drink. We went to the bowling alley, the one in Port Arthur or whatever, and you can taste the alcohol, but it pretty much tastes like Nerds.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I don't know what the name is, but it tastes like Nerds.
I'm gonna do like a fancy concoction drink at like an Irish car bomb.
Heard about that.
Have fun with that.
Then what's it called? Sushan tried the sake.
Yeah. No good.
Sushan, we went to dinner and Sushan got ordered like sake, and he's like, he pours everyone as a shot. I'm like, my stomach's feeling a little fucked up. I'm not really gonna drink. And he poured one, so I took some anyway. But Tyler went to take it. He's like, you're not gonna like that because like he I know that he didn't know that it was warm, and then also on top of that, it's not for him.
Put some hair on your chest.
Get that shit away from me.
All right. Well, let's kind of go ahead and dive on into feedback. First bit of feedbacks we got from our boy Thomas. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son.
Drop it.
Low.
Son.
Drop it.
Saying another stellar podcast. Chaps, keep up the good work. He also said happy Thanksgiving. So, by the way, yeah, how was y'all's Thanksgiving? Y'all have a good time?
It was good.
Eat a lot of food?
Good. Oh, yeah, we had fun messing with my niece, tricking her and telling her she had dog poop on her face.
Oh, God.
It was fun. Then she hit dog poop with a blow-up sword and chased Doug with it. You know how that goes.
Who doesn't? All right. So.
I mean, that's usually how it goes. When you try to convince someone that they have shit on them, then they actually try to put shit on you.
Oh, how lovely. So with that being said, next bit of feedback we have is from Trish. Not the famous Trish, but, who knows? Maybe she'll be a regular on the show.
How do you know she's not famous?
Well, she could be.
So
I know. Well, Trish in the wrestling world refers to, one particular person.
So this is a new person.
Yes.
Hi, Trish.
Saying, hey, relatively new listener here. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of feedback about your podcast, if I may. So if memory serves me correctly, a few years ago, AJ kissed Daniel Bryan, now Bree's husband, on the apron and ended up losing his belt in record time. My guess is that Bree wanted to give AJ the same treatment. Talk about slow burning revenge. And as for Bree becoming a heel, it would have been obvious that Brie would want to challenge Nikki for the title after that 30 days of hell. So, what sweeter revenge than to hide in plain sight under the guise of her helping Nikki win the title because she loves her and forgives her. Brie beating AJ for the title would be low-hanging fruit in a sense, but to beat Nikki for it, that would be cool. People always say they don't want their hand held through a storyline, but the fact that virtually nobody picked up on that or even cared to think about it, I mean, hopefully WWE doesn't screw that underlying message up. Do you guys think they even thought about that part, or maybe they just got lucky? Love the show, guys. Maybe one day something will happen that you guys can be genuinely happy about and not seem so jaded over it. Congrats on the engagements and well wishes to you all.
Well, first of all, Trish, thanks for checking the show out.
Yeah,
I don't believe we've ever interacted with you, but it's always cool to hear from new people, no matter what their opinions are of the show, and we appreciate it. That's very cool. As far as being a jaded fan, I certainly don't feel jaded, and this may come as a surprise to you, but the type of criticism that we get most frequently is that we're probably too easy on the WWE, and that we're probably give them too many passes on things. So I know you're coming at it from the other side and saying we're being a little tough on them, but to be completely honest with you, most people say we're too easy on them. At least that's how I feel about the criticism that we get. So you may be surprised to learn that. I don't feel jaded. I watch as much, probably more pro wrestling now than I ever have in my entire life, and that's probably just because technology's at a place where so many things are at my fingertips. And I follow 3-4 promotions on a weekly basis, and many more promotions I observe in spurts depending on how I purchase DVDs and stuff like that, and I check in and out on. And so I really don't feel jaded. And in fact, I think it was just I thought we were pretty high on the WWE. I thought we were giving them a lot of slack, and I just feel like Survivor Series, so much of the storylines were culminated in one match, and we weren't happy with how that one match was built to, and that may come across as us being really negative on the product in general. But I think overall we were mostly okay with it before that. And so if you're relatively new, maybe you came in the weeks building up to Survivor Series. I'm not really sure where you jumped in at, but that's a possibility. And as far as the AJ Brie Nikki stuff, I think we all completely realized that it was a callback to the Bryan stuff. We all acknowledge and realize that it's a possibility that they're doing a subtle booking thing with Brie, and that she could just be, like you said, hiding in plain sight to take advantage later. But the reason we didn't sell that or acknowledge that is because WWE so rarely does a good job of subtle booking. Mm-hmm. They generally make it very apparent what their intentions are. And so that's why we didn't acknowledge it as subtle booking. It could possibly turn out to be that way, but so often it's not, that we can't comment on it until we see that it has been subtle booking. So that's sort of, where we are at on that.
Especially since they haven't even offered an explanation as to why Brie is now helping Nikki. They're not going to. That could be, the reason. They were like, maybe I just wanted to get,
well, I think that's the hand-holdy stuff that Trisha's talking about. Yeah. I just think that, you could have the announcer speculate on her intention, like, oh, maybe but that may be showing their hand too much if they were going to go the subtle route, which I'm still not 100%, it's not out of the question, but I'm not 100% convinced they are going the subtle route either. I just acknowledge that it is a possibility, and we didn't comment on it because, so rarely do they get the subtle booking thing right. And to be completely honest with you, I would find it hard to believe that this is the spot on the card. And this sounds like a bad thing. It may even sound like a sexist thing, and it's not because I feel that way. It's because how they do things. I would find it hard to believe that they picked this spot on the card in this angle to start with the subtle booking. You think they would show that more apparent in like main events and stuff before we see it this low on the card. It's just my take. But nice to hear from you. And I agree with what you said. It's just they have to show me before I can acknowledge that, because they burned us so much with that.
Yeah, and my take on the critiques is that I try to take it week by week, as we come. But, I feel like I know what they're capable of producing. I know that they're capable of giving us those excellent stories. I mean, hell, look at the video packages that they deliver whenever it's called for. They do a great job of those. They can put on great matches, great storytelling. I just feel like sometimes they're lacking in it. So, that's my take on it. But yeah, thank you very much for the feedback. We certainly do appreciate you taking the time to write all that out, and it's good stuff. So next bit of feedback we have is from Mixer549 saying, I love the Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt match. So good stuff.
I like the match pretty okay until the finish. I just thought it became too blatant of a shill.
Mm-hmm.
It was good, though.
Next bit of feedback we have is from Richard saying Triple H versus Sting at Royal Rumble, Undertaker versus Sting at WrestleMania 31. I think these are two matches that Sting will have in the WWE. Lesnar is a piece of shit who should defend his damn title. Great job on the podcast. Hashtag CNation.
Yeah, I mean, I can see those both being a possibility as far as matchups for Sting.
Mm-hmm.
I could even see them happening at those events. So, yeah, I can see that.
Yep. We shall see. Next bit of feedback we have is from Christine saying, liked Sting showing up at the end to stick the fork in Triple H. After all these years, he finally sets foot in a WWE ring. I felt it was a little ironic and fitting since during the Monday Night Wars back in the DX days, Triple H went to WCW in the Jeep with the Cannon. It could be a bit of a receipt for all of these years later, putting down the authority. P.S. Why would anyone trust the Big Show? I'm not surprised Big Show was the traitor.
You're right. No one should ever trust that man.
Flip-flops.
Yeah, flip-flop indeed. So, and something that was really interesting, I saw like one of those stats about Triple H and Sting, and it said the last time that they were in a ring together was Starrcade '94. So nearly 20 years. Or not in the ring together, but the last time they were on a pay-per-view together. I'm sorry. I should have clarified that. So, really interesting stuff.
Okay, I haven't been keeping up with TNA, but you remember, I guess they're still doing it or whatever.
Well,
are they off air now?
They're not. They've aired everything that. Well, I know they were preempted for Thanksgiving, so I don't know if that. I can't remember if they have one show left to air that would be this week or if they're done, but they're essentially have aired everything they've shot, and they're going to go into best ofs until.
Okay. But what I was going to say is, and I know WWE is, I think they're starting to be like that a little bit, but not too much. You know how TNA, a lot of people like turn heel face like that. It seems like that.
Kennedy.
Would you say they did? Well, yeah. Would you say that?
Anderson.
I don't think they did as fast, but it's still like with like Mark Henry and Show. It's sort of the same situation a little bit, right? No?
Well, that's indicative of more of like a time period in TNA. They still are more freely with that shit than the WWE is in general, but that was like a certain time period they did that. They were really bad at that. It was really excessive. And I don't think the WWE does that in general. It's just they have like 3 or 4 guys that they use when they need guys like Kane and Big Show and Mark Henry. They consider enough of a name to give someone else a rub or to make a feud significant. But they use them at their will. They just plug them in as whatever they need at the time. So that's why they flip-flop so much.
Hey, next week we need you as this. But thank you for the feedback. Next one is from Gerald saying, hey guys, listening all the way from London. Good
Nice.
Good podcast. As far as WWE 2K15, I think the medium grapple and strong grapple rather than the 4 types of grapple is better. Mainly because the old game, Superstars would have moves they didn't actually do. Now Superstars have less moves and the moves are more unique. And guys, go download Game Volt's Seth Rollins' new attire on the PS4 version. So thanks for the
cool.
suggestion.
Yeah, I haven't gone and checked out people's download attires. What I did a few days ago was, and I didn't completely create it, but like the New Day, I changed all their attires. I didn't change it to their stripes. All their colors, I just changed to light blue and dark blue, like their colors, and I added a jacket to like Big E. But then I saw someone online created the attire. They changed the pants and did the thing. I was like, it's like you can get it online on PS4. So I'm gonna check it out.
Some of those motherfuckers who create those logos, they take those fucking Those take forever. I tried to do some very like rudimentary logo work, and I just can't fucking pull it off. So those people who do that real detailed shit,
They have time on their hands.
Major, not just time. I think
they're
it's
good.
Yeah, major props to the people who can pull that shit off. I can't.
Yeah.
I'll check out that attire, Gerald. As far as like the stuff goes, I think that's a good point. I can see where you're coming from, but I still feel like it's limited my matches. I don't think there's anything wrong with guys doing smaller moves or more general moves that anyone could do. My problem was always that when they gave like signature moves to guys who like clearly wouldn't do that, or something that's really out of character for a guy to do. But as far as just like real general, like you can give everyone a body slam. Anyone can do a body slam.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's plenty of stuff like that. So I still feel like they sort of limited me. But I can see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm. So good stuff. So thank you everyone for the feedback. We certainly do appreciate it. I kind of want to, before we get into Raw, I want to talk a little bit about the big events that happened over the course of the past week. That was the CM Punk interview with Colt Cabana, the Vince McMahon interview on Stone Cold's podcast as well. We finally, CM Punk finally breaks his silence, tells the world what they've been waiting for. Goes on Colt Cabana's show, does a really good job.
Which is actually going to be a second part, I guess, with questions this week. But I thought it was good. Like Doug, sent the message on to her. We messaged each other through Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
All three of us are in there. And like you said, it was pretty packed on Colt Cabana's website. So someone, I guess, I don't know if he did or someone else put on YouTube, and then I checked it on YouTube. But it was a great listen. It really was.
It's one of those things, like, I'm always fascinated about the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
I want to know about what's going on back there. Say I need to be on this side of the curtain instead, but I find that stuff to be fascinating as far as like who gets along with who, and stories from the road and stuff like that.
Me and Doug were talking, and when did you message me? Was that Thanksgiving or before Thanksgiving? After Thanksgiving?
It's Thanksgiving morning. His podcast came out on Thursday. It probably actually dropped late Wednesday night. And by the time you woke up Thursday morning, it was all over the fucking place. You couldn't get it off his site even.
Yeah. Well, one thing we talked about is Punk's the type of person which we don't believe he don't bullshit people. He don't lie. He tells the truth,
Well, I don't. It's not that I don't think he bullshits. Is that I feel like there is a basis of truth in like most of what he said.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, in the Vince in the Stone Cold podcast, Vince said, well, there's his story and there's my story, but I also,
and there is.
Yeah. But you also, there's also the saying that there's three sides to every story: his story, their story, and the truth. So, you just never, there's some degree of truth.
I actually
on both
listened to
stories.
the Colt Cabana thing twice.
Yeah. And I thought it was really good. Just some of the insight that you hear, about, if you do this, I'll owe you one. We'll take care of you. And like, okay, well, it's the second time you've asked me to do something like this, and you said you were going to owe me, and I haven't seen anything from it. But it's also one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, but you also have to understand that you're not the only star. There are other people in the business that are hurting and doing all this as well.
It sucks that he got served his termination papers on his wedding day.
Yeah, whether it was coincidence or intentional, that's
Still
never.
sucks.
Yeah, it's never something you want to have happen. But I mean, Doug, what do you think about the interview?
Well, I know at the time I was like really vocal about Punk because my perception and the narrative that I bought into at the time was that Punk didn't like his spot on the card and he went home over it. That's what I believed at the time. That's heavily what the rumor was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I criticized him for it. I took a lot of Punk's people, not Punk supporters, but people who I thought were blind Punk supporters. Like no matter what, people who I didn't feel like were interested in what was true and if it was true or not, and just that. Well, Punk's the cool guy and the Fed is the enemy, right? So I sort of took a lot of those guys to task and I fought it out with a lot of those people. Is my position changed after hearing Punk's just under a 2-hour interview. Yes and no. It's very complicated. I like Punk. I am a fan. It's one of those weird things when I liken it to music. Liking music a lot. Like I have like a lot of bases in like punk and independent rock music where guys are praised for not putting up with shit that they don't want to put up with and doing their own thing, having their own vision and following through with how they want to do business. And people in punk and independent rock are praised for that a lot because they do things their own way. It's their vision. It comes to fruit how they want it to. And if they're getting dicked around business wise or someone, or it's just not their vision, then they don't do it that way. And I can see how that can apply to pro wrestling, but also the flip side of that is that pro wrestling is not one artist or one group or one band. It is like 60 people on a fucking roster. And I felt that, like, yes, you may not be happy with your spot on the card. However, there's not 100% of the time you get to say what spot you want on the card.
Right.
In a roster of like 50 something people where they have a lot of masters to serve, so to speak. Right.
Yeah.
So, and he talks a lot about that in this interview, a lot. And at the same time that I very much have the belief, well, Punk, that's great that you thought you were the guy, but there's more to it than that. You don't always get to say you're the guy. And you don't always get to say you're the spot because there's so many other guys. At the same time to it, I agree with so much of what he says, like his booking philosophy of bringing the part-timers in, putting them over the guys who are there. I believe he's right in all that. Yeah. And then I still, at the bottom line, believe that, but you don't always get to say your spot. Like, right. I feel like there's two sides to it. And, but all the booking shit, like, there's a lot of fucking allegations thrown around. A lot of it was he wasn't happy with how he was booked. A lot of it was he brings up ideas of like walking Chael Sonnen trying to walk Chael Sonnen into the octagon for a UFC fight. They turn him down, and Triple H walks Mayweather to the ring. He wanted to switch up his style to fight shorts and put sponsors on his tights. They tell him no. Lesnar comes in with sponsors. Rock comes in with sponsors. I don't know if Rock comes in with sponsors, but all Rock shirt have Under Armour on them. Yeah. They don't sell them that way, so I assume they're his sponsor. So, and I can understand being frustrated with that. But at the same time, I also feel like you're not the bottom line of the creative, and if they feel like an idea works better for someone else, it's like,
do you want to go to Europe or do you want to film this movie? It's like, well, okay, we'll get Randy Orton to do it. It's all weird stuff because I can see both sides. Honestly, I can totally see both sides. And what is the real damning stuff in this interview to me is not him pissed off on how he's used, and not them turning him down for stuff he suggested or requested creatively. The real damning stuff in this interview is all the medical shit, the independent contractor stuff, and discussion about union.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. The other big thing is them not working out. They were fully transitioning their business into a new model without telling their employees how they were going to get paid royalty-wise for the network stuff. Yeah. And all that shit, I think, is the real damning stuff in all this.
Absolutely.
The fucking king... And that even gets sort of tricky because Punk, in one hand, says, like, he's like, no, I'm going to show them that I can go in there and do this even though I'm injured. And then at the same time, he's like, well...
why aren't you taking care of me? Because I'm hurting.
Yeah. Right. And, like, I mean, that's a problematic because these doctors work for the company.
Ooh, yeah, that's another thing, man. That doctor, it was weird. Just like the what did he have on his waist? What was it again? Staph infection. Well, he didn't find it until later on.
MRSA, I believe it's called.
Does it hurt? No, and then they didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, here's the thing. I think and supposedly he talked about settling stuff, and he got all he wanted, and then more. The speculation that I also believe in, that what they settled was maybe a malpractice case, and that's what he got for this medical shit, because he went home the way he tells it is he was banged up. Well, banged up is an understatement. He had concussion shit. He had the staph infection shit, and he was not happy with how he's booked. He said, "Fuck y'all, I'm going home." He didn't say he quit. He makes it seem like he just went home because he was unhappy and hurt. And then they fired him.
He's like, I'm not at my best. You should probably fire me. I'm going home.
Right.
End of story.
But that medical shit is crazy because I feel like those doctors have to be held accountable to somebody.
Yeah.
And even if CM Punk says, no, I'm the man, I can go in there and finish this match, I feel like the doctor has to say, no, you're not.
Yeah.
They have to be like, no, you're not fucking working. That's a liability.
You know what's
right?
the crazy part? I wonder if
although are they liable for that?
I don't know. I mean, it's weird.
How many people do they do that to?
Yeah.
Well,
that's true.
This is the thing is I've always not operated, but I've always been under the assumption that the way WWE, and this confirms it for everyone. In my opinion, Punk is on point with this, and I don't feel like he has a reason to lie about this stuff. This in particular, and that it's always been my assumption, and I believe many people's assumption that WWE has never told guys you have to work hurt or we want you to work hurt. It's always been the guys knew that if they took the time off, their spot would be taken.
Yeah.
Punished.
But Punk is throwing heavy allegations around that they're telling him that they wanted him to work hurt. And it's coming from the top. Like Vince saying, if you do this, I owe you one.
Yeah.
And that's serious shit. That's crazy.
Hey, I know you just had elbow surgery 2 weeks ago, but we need you back here tomorrow.
Well, I have the figures or the time frames mixed up in my head, but he said something about I know you just had surgery on the elbow. It's a 4 to 6 week recovery, but we have you booked in a match in 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like we need you back in 3 or whatever.
Yeah. That was nuts.
And see that even and then even stuff about Cena, everyone praises Cena and we do too. And for coming back, so is that Cena saying I don't want to give up my top spot? Is that Vince saying Cena, we need you fucking back?
Yeah.
What is that?
And that's the top tier of guys.
Yeah.
There's no telling how banged up the lower to mid card guys are.
That's so crazy. It's we always feel Cena's untouchable, but what if it's what I mean is we always felt like he would come back because that's what he wants to do, but we don't really know. But what if
is that
he
just
wouldn't
him
get
saying
punished?
it,
Though
or?
that's Cena though. But I mean, would he get punished?
Well, the weird thing is that we know that the majority of that roster walks around on eggshells around that fucking place.
Yes.
And we know that CM Punk was not a guy who had to walk around on eggshells around that place. So if he has to put up with that level of shit, what do some of these guys have to fucking deal with?
Oh
what do these
my
guys
God.
You
you feel bad for the people that it's on there, like Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's out. I mean, they probably a guy like that who's not using can probably take the time because he's considered expendable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably a guy if you're being featured heavily. He also throws around allegations of Ryback hurting him, being reckless.
Hurting
Because I'm dumb as fuck.
Yeah, he made Ryback. If you take him at his, and Ryback claims he was never approached by Punk. That's Ryback's side of the story from Twitter. But Punk says that you've hurt me every time that we've worked, so you're either dumb as shit or you're trying to hurt me. And he claims Ryback said, I'm dumb as shit. I'm sorry. That's crazy. The money over the network stuff is a real, I don't know how much I buy into his narrative of him being a locker room leader who's trying to stand up for the boys.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mean, that sounds really good and that's something you want to buy into a guy that you like.
That's one of the things that I like
about. That's his money too,
Yeah, but that's one of the things that I liked about what he was saying. He was just you can call BS on me all you want. This is just me saying my side.
Right.
So, but at least he's willing to be oh, Punk, he's lying out his ass. There's no way he came up with that. He wasn't the idea creator for the Shield.
Well, I think that got blown out of proportion because he did say that the Shield was his idea, quote unquote, but he stops at saying that Vince wanted to put him with Big Show and Daniel Bryan in a group.
Seth Rollins.
Or a couple of guys.
Yeah.
He said, no, give me guys from NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And he named Rollins, Ambrose, and Cassius Ohno.
Yeah.
And they said, no, we don't want it. We're putting Reigns in. But he never claims that he made up the gimmick or anything like that. And so that's sort of a thing that sort of snowballed on the internet where he does say the Shield was his idea, but he doesn't say the extent
He
of
didn't
what
say, I thought of the name The Shield.
he doesn't say. I got the gimmicks. Then he just said like I picked 3 guys. They said heroes out, Reigns is in. That's all.
Yeah.
That's basically what he says about
Yeah.
it.
Hey, let's bring some new guys in.
Right.
Like that was his suggestion.
Right.
You know? And they said, okay, well, I like that, but let's change one and we're good.
And that shit happens all the time.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like,
absolutely.
I mean, like sure. Are you going to argue a guy saying, "Well, I took part of what your idea is, and like we switched it up a little bit, and now Triple H is going to take credit for it." I don't know. That's all.
That's
That
another
seems like
thing. He talked about Triple H, how he didn't like him, all that stuff. I don't know. I laughed at certain things he said, like how the atmosphere was, and like, oh, Hunter running around. It's like, oh, I never wanted a real job, and ha ha ha. I don't know. That kind of cracked me up when he said
I
that.
got a suit.
And there's a ton of stuff I'm sure that just not even coming to mind for us to go
Yeah,
into right now.
yeah,
But
Well, going back into the injury, sorry to cut you off.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know,
I'm sort of spacing.
Going back into the injury that he had and, having to deal with that, we're starting to learn stories of former WWE wrestlers who are now speaking out, be like, yeah, I had this, I had that.
Like who?
Hardcore Holly, Rene Dupree, I think Charlie Haas stepped
I mean,
forward
we
as
know
well.
that they had injuries, but they announced like after the interview,
Yeah.
like, hey,
They said, hey, I had a similar story. Like Rene Dupree had a hematoma in his head and it burst while he was on an airplane. He said there was blood all over the bathroom.
holy shit.
Yeah, he was like he said Triple H was nice enough at least to stay with me and bring me to the hospital. But, I said, we got to get to a hospital, and they were like, okay, well, let's take you to the WWE doctors. Otherwise, we're not going to pay for it. And so he had to get on another plane, fly to the WWE doctors while he was dealing with that.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
So, but that's just like I said, that's his.
Yeah,
his
it's
story.
his
about
story.
all
Gotcha.
this wrestling injured stuff, there is and I'm not saying that guys should ever work hurt. They should all, if they don't ever feel if it's something they don't feel comfortable with, no matter what it is, they shouldn't be doing it, right? Especially if a doctor doesn't clear them. But there is an inherent danger to professional wrestling. Yeah. Guys are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And there is and while long term I'm sure it's not good for someone's body to come back from like an ankle surgery or a knee surgery or an elbow surgery too soon or to work too long on that, while I'm sure that is awful and a guy shouldn't do it if it's against what he wants to do or if he's told not to by a doctor, but there is a different fucking level between that kind of shit and concussions and fucking staff things that will kill people right fucking now.
Yeah.
Like that's like there's a level of difference there. And I'm not downplaying anything under that. I'm just saying like that is real crazy.
That's serious stuff.
Well, the real fucked up thing is the WWE is so like partnered with this like what is Nowinski's thing, the future legacy thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
all
the concussions and all that.
Triple H is on the fucking board of directors or whatever the fuck. He has some position like with them, and they're so partnered with that shit. But then behind their own doors, they're telling guys with concussions they can go work, or they can tell people.
Wow.
It's like I have a concussion, yet I passed your tests.
Well, he said he passed the concussion test while listening to his headphones and while texting Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
They told him he passed it. He's like, I have a concussion. Well, they wanted him to go run the ropes. He's like, I'm not running the ropes. It's a concussion. Just call it a concussion.
Yeah. It's like if you're not going to call it a concussion, then what am I even doing here? Wow. It's serious stuff.
And then you said that I think it was you or someone said that, or the WWE issued a statement about the doctors or something.
It was very, very matter of fact and very. It was as far away from the CM Punk stuff as possible. It was just we take the health care of our people super seriously, and it's headed up by some of the best doctors in the world, like that kind of a statement.
I mean, they may be the best doctors in the world, but guess what? They're under your paycheck. I mean, they're under your supervision, and they do what you tell them to do.
Yeah.
It's super
crazy.
The booking shit, I can go either way on. I can see Punk's side. I believe in it, but at the end of the day, it's like you're not the company. You're not booking the fucking company, so no matter what you think you are. You know, like, I see it his way and I see it the company's way. The other stuff, we don't know how we're going to pay royalties to people.
Yeah.
The concussions and staph infection. I cannot buy into getting fired on your wedding day as a happenstance. It just happened to work out the way. I totally believe that was malicious, like, fuck you to him.
Had to be.
I don't see how you can see that any other way. That's too coincidental. I'm sorry.
Well, he just happened to. I mean, it got sidetracked in the mail. It was supposed to arrive at his bachelor party.
I don't know why, and I don't know shit, but like, why in my head I was thinking that's like Hunter.
Because Punk says Hunter called him.
You think
to
you'll
call.
like our wedding present to him? Look at me, my suit.
Because he says in the interview that Hunter called him 2 days before he's getting married. He said, he's like, can we talk? He's like, we can always talk, but I'm getting married. Let me get back from this, and then you can.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Yeah. But so again, like, the thing that baffles me the most is that he seems to take least offense to the medical stuff than he does the booking stuff.
Right.
He seems like he's like, yeah, whatever, but he's like, those motherfuckers. He's like, yeah, I had the best match. I mean, because he goes into all that, like, you made it. He's like, they're trying to work me like I'm a fucking fan, like saying I was. There were multiple main events.
That was the best match of the night. That should have been on last.
Well, he's like, they try to tell me like fucking there are multiple main events at WrestleMania. He's like, you were one of the main events. You had the best.
No,
match.
the last match of Mania is the main event. Like, stop trying to spin this.
Well, see, like, that's where that's where it gets real foggy. All that shit is like, yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's weird, right? Is it about
WrestleMania 25? What was the main event?
I think it was Orton and Triple H that went on last, didn't it?
It was.
It wasn't the match of the night, but it went on last.
Not at all.
I mean, you can
that was the first Sean Taker.
You can kind of argue with the thing with Cena though. He's usually the main event, if not the second too.
Well, he said he got paid he said for that match against Taker, he got paid. There were 5 guys who made more money than him on that card. He like Taker, Rock, Triple H, Cena, Lesnar. He said,
and then him.
Yeah. And I can see I understand being mad about that shit, but like,
so you got all these part-timers coming in, getting all the big paychecks, leaving, me to run the show the next night by myself, without all the part-timers.
That makes perfect sense to me, and I would feel the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's still like, I was like, well, but you don't get to pick your spot on the card.
Yeah.
He said that he wanted main event that year, but he also, like, in the same sentence says it was Daniel Bryan's year.
Yeah, that was one I caught too.
He said, well, then he, like, a sentence later says, well, we both deserve it. I was like, well, you're not both getting that main event spot. It's like,
they could have wrestled each other. That's what everyone wanted.
They weren't set, but the feuds weren't set up to end up like that.
I know.
So if it was truly Bryan's year, then you were never going to get it anyway, right?
And here's something that I want to know. Had he been in the main event of WrestleMania and he lost, would he have still been upset? Or would he be like, no, I want to win the main event of WrestleMania?
No, he said that.
He said that he said, book a triple threat. I'll go out in like 5 minutes and that'll be.
Oh, okay.
That's right. He said it won't be like so stuck in my craw. I'll be like a chimp off my shoulder. I'll be like, I'll technically have been in the main event.
Yeah.
It's like, just fucking appease me, And it's like, he does throw a lot of like, I am bitter right now. He throws a lot of that, think whatever you're gonna think. This is my side. It's definitely worth listening. I can't imagine you're listening to this and haven't already listened to that. So we're preaching to the choir right now. But if you haven't, it's definitely
our take on.
It's definitely a good listen. It's definitely worth 2 hours of your time.
Yeah.
And supposedly they're doing a follow up with questions coming up.
Should be pretty interesting. Do you think this might, with the interview and then some of the former wrestlers coming forward saying, yeah, this happened to me as well. Do you think this could be sort of a catalyst to try and unionize wrestling?
This sort of comes and goes every couple of years.
Yeah.
They sort of like, some guy says something.
They're
and
starting
like,
to form. It's going to happen.
And then they do something. That independent contractor is absolutely 100% bullshit. There's no debating it. Those guys are not independent. They're fucking employees.
Yeah.
They're not independent. Independent contractor means fuck you. I don't like this. I'm in TNA next week on Impact. I can do that.
And then I'm going to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, there's no fucking no compete clauses in independent. That's absolute bullshit that those guys, if they did all get on the same page, could do away with.
Right.
They could have health benefits and all that shit, but they're all too scared. It takes a guy like love Punk or hate Punk. It takes a guy like him who just whips his dick out and throws the middle finger up and says, "Hey, fuck you guys! Like, I'm not coming back, but like this is all the fucked up shit that happened." You know?
Why is he whipping his dick out?
As a fuck you. I don't know.
I think they would get the point with just the middle fingers, but all right.
No.
Punk is eccentric. He wants to go like stuff.
I guess. Check this out. Yeah. So yeah, and with so the Punk interview was great.
Takes guys like it's guys like him who are going to make the movement, not the guys there because they're too fucking scared to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then following Raw last night, Vince McMahon, they had the Stone Cold podcast with him on there, and that was really good. I felt like McMahon was kind of dodging a couple of questions here or there.
Absolutely.
Which, and he did mention, he was like, for legal reasons, I can't get into this, or I'd rather not talk about this, which, I don't mind, because he's being honest about it. He's like, hey, look.
Cool that they were doing stuff like that on that, because I know it's Stone Cold's podcast, but it's on the WWE network.
Right.
Well, I think they're doing like a part 2 on the podcast one shit.
And yeah, because he did mention, Stone Cold did mention that. He was like, hey, they're wrapping me up. We're going to continue this on my show. And that's when Vince hit the little nugget. He was like, well, seeing as how we're on the WWE network and I own the WWE network, whoever's listening in the truck, we're going another 15 minutes. And that I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome. That
was probably like a little stunt where he was like, trying, you know what I mean?
I felt like maybe this had been pre-recorded because one, the censors caught a couple of words,
right?
And two,
well, even live shit, quote unquote, is on a 30-second delay, so they can catch stuff like that,
right? But I mean, they showed like a video clip from when Vince McMahon was first being, the announcer, they showed the beer truck and stuff like that coming through. So it's like they either had a list of questions that they were going to talk over, like they had PowerPoints, or they pre-recorded it and put that in a little bit later.
I can't imagine that Vince walked in there with no idea what Stone Cold was going to ask him because he's such a guarded guy.
Yeah, and Austin did have the earpiece that the producers were telling, hey, you got to wrap it up and do all this.
Right.
So what's some of the interesting things?
McMahon apologized to Punk over the actions of what happened.
Before we get into specifics, I want to say that I didn't hear this. I didn't watch it live. I read the transcript. I know what was talked about and what was said. Mm-hmm. But it was way less. And Austin didn't really, he stood up. He asked follow-ups and stood up to some points that he was making. Mm-hmm. He didn't actually really grill him or throw him any hardballs. However, it was 75% less of a fluff piece than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a very hey, we're just two good old dudes shooting the shit, kind of a thing.
No,
Austin asked some real questions.
He did.
And he didn't really grill him on the Vince sidestepped some shit, and he didn't ask him. Austin wasn't like, no, you're fucking answering my question.
Yeah.
But it was never, ever going to be that.
There were a couple times where he was like, oh, come on, Vince. Tell us what's going on.
Nobody else in the world gets away with that, but Austin.
Yes.
and even Austin couldn't really fucking dig
He
it.
knew where the boundary was.
Right.
He was like, okay, I know how to rile you up. I know when you're starting to get
But
pissed
also
off.
from what I read from the transcripts, he would say the locker room is different from when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, oh shit, what else he said? There's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, it is, things change with the times, but he flat out said, this is the biggest show in town. People.
He mentioned TNA.
Yeah, he was like,
really?
Yeah, he was like, people can't just up and leave and go to TNA. No offense to them, but and
it's kind of weird hearing him say that.
It was very weird.
Well, if you listen to his show, he's had TNA guys.
Oh no! Oh, you're saying
but the
Stone
fact that it was
Cold
on the
said
WWE
that.
Network.
Yeah.
I thought Vince said
no. Stone Cold.
Oh, okay, that's more acceptable. I was like, whoa.
But Vince did in a response. In a way, did acknowledge that he is aware of TNA. So, for those who say, "Oh, he's oblivious to it," he don't even know.
He's not oblivious. He just
Yeah.
They're not competition, so he doesn't think about them.
Yeah, he was like, he was like, they talked about WCW. He was like, do you feel bad about buying them out because you got rid of your competition? No offense to TNA, but they're not your competition. They're not big enough. And he was like, well, everything that's on TV on Monday night is our competition. We're trying to beat them.
Well, Austin was like, Austin says, I call it pro wrestling. Vince says, we're fucking entertainment and general type stuff. Not to cut you off, but like, just because I'll forget if I don't say it right now, because you're speaking of competition.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting thing that from the Punk interview was, they tried to tell him in his no compete clause or whatever that he wasn't allowed to go to the UFC, and he's like, they don't consider them competition, but in your no compete clause, I can't do anything with the UFC.
Yeah,
which I thought was weird. But go ahead.
Yeah,
just
I
because
thought
you were
that
talking
too.
about.
That was pretty interesting. They were like, hey, just in case.
And also another thing with their from what I read though, Austin was walk out or whatever. Then when he came back, they fined him.
Oh yeah.
Money or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean they.
Man, this is a mark of the times. December of 2014, we are podcasting about podcasts.
Yeah.
But
Podcastception? I don't know.
But I mean, well, we can't get these stars, obviously. So
That's sort of why that's why I've sort of gravitated toward the attitude of like, I don't know why guys like us would do interviews other than just to talk to the dudes for a few seconds, because we can't, if we do an interview, it's got to be sort of fluffy, and CM Punk is not going to talk to us like he's going to talk to Cole Cabana. And Vince McMahon is never going to fucking talk to us. Punk isn't either, but Vince McMahon is never going to talk to us. And even if he did, like, we couldn't ask him 1/8 of what Austin asked him. You know what I mean?
We don't have that kind of pull.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, unless you want to pull your pants down, whip your dick out, and start shooting the bird to him.
Oh, we can. It wouldn't matter. We don't have any stroke.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, it was a really good interview. Stone Cold was like, Cesaro, why isn't he over,
I read about
what's the deal
that.
with that? And McMahon was like, oh, maybe he's Swiss. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. And he was like, well, y'all had momentum with him during WrestleMania, and then you just cut it out from him. What was the matter with him? It was, he's lacking charisma. He doesn't have it.
They said he didn't connect with the fans. Or
Which is
bull fucking shit. Oh my god,
It's just
people are
total
impressed with his. Okay, you know how like people like in the crowd like one thing, they love the swing.
Mm-hmm.
They love the European uppercuts.
Yep.
I mean,
if they would have stuck with the momentum he had coming out of WrestleMania, he'd be a lower main event babyface, right?
Yeah.
which it's also we don't know shit. We going off the dirt sheets and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we heard that he may have pissed someone off or something.
Yeah.
Well, the word was like Vince doesn't get him, quote unquote, get him. And that sort of like proves the point that Vince doesn't get him if he's like he doesn't connect with the crowd. Like
He's a fucking like the strongest guy they got in WWE.
well, Vince says all that. Vince says he's like tremendously gifted guy.
Mhm.
He said
I just hope he gets over it with the crowd.
he said he lacks verbal skills. Is that true? That's what it said in the thing. He speaks like 5 fucking languages.
The man who speaks 5 languages doesn't have vocal skills.
still doesn't connect with the crowd. Yeah.
He doesn't know how to communicate. That's the
I
problem.
mean, that's
okay.
that's a funny jab we're throwing. Like, speaking a language doesn't necessarily translate into promo ability, but he's a good enough talker to be fine. He connects with the crowd. He's a good enough talker.
Yeah.
He's one of the top
So there's
2 or 3
something else
workers in
behind
the
that,
car.
I would think.
The thing is,
there has
Vince
to be.
doesn't get him.
Yep.
I don't know.
They asked if Macho Man's ever going to go in the Hall of Fame. Vince was like, oh, yeah, he's going in.
Said soon, right?
It was like, soon, right? Oh, yeah. It's like, soon as in like this decade? It was like, yeah, what are you trying to, it's basically like, what are you trying to get at? He's like, are you trying to make me, because the rumor is that he's going in this coming year. And so, I think Stone Cold was looking for confirmation on that. But, yeah, I mean, it was a really good interview.
There were some other. There was at least one other like high point that I think we should bring up. I'm spacing on it, but I knew Cesaro was the big thing. Macho Man was the big thing.
Yeah, he did apologize to CM Punk.
The
for
Punk
stuff
thing was
that
the big
happened.
thing. Wasn't there one more big thing? Because I remember this.
Transcript. Yeah, I don't know.
The rest was them sort of like reminiscing and bullshitting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't feel like anyone in the locker room has that drive to be the next guy.
Right.
Which is kind of a shot to everyone.
Well, that's weird. He also defends himself as I think Austin Austin sort of pushes him if they know what like the crowd wants or whatever.
Yeah, and they talked about
him being out of touch.
Yeah, and they also talked about the Undertaker's streak.
Yeah.
Where Vince was basically like, it was my call. I made the decision. That's on me.
Didn't he call him like Mark and he said he was cool with it or something?
Oh, yeah. He was like, he gives, he's the biggest giver in the WWE, so, what better way to give it to someone who can use it? So, I don't know. But,
did he grill him about Lesnar not being there to defend the title?
yes.
Okay, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Okay, how that
It
go?
was like, the title is not
He said
the attraction.
He said the title's not the attraction. He said did he say the guy's the attraction or did he say the show's the attraction?
Has to be the guy.
It's the person, yeah.
Okay.
He's saying Lesnar is the attraction. Whenever he's there, it's special. So he even made the
He's
notion,
basically saying the title doesn't mean shit, which
Yeah.
which it technically doesn't, but like it should. Like,
yeah, it should have something meaningful. But he was basically saying, if Jake the Snake goes out and he's got the giant snake and the crowd goes nuts, well, okay, that's cool. But you see him next week and he's got the snake and okay, that's all right. And then the next week you see him come out with the snake and all right, we see that. So he was like, it would water down the product and it would there wouldn't be anything special about Jake.
Bullshit. That's not apples to apples in the least bit.
He was like, if Brock Lesnar goes every week to Raw and destroys everyone in his path, he's gone through like 20 people in a matter of months, and who else would there be for him?
He makes the argument that keeping Brock strong as an ass kicker would go through the babyface side of the roster too quickly, and there would be no one for him to face with. So that's why you're keeping him out. Look, I on this very podcast in past weeks and probably in recent past weeks have said there is an element of Brock being gone that does make it feel special when he comes back.
Yeah.
But it's too much of an expense for you to not have a champion on a monthly basis. Even I, who say it does sort of make Brock feel special when he comes back, is calling bullshit on like this. Like no, it's not. It's apples to oranges, man.
It's like if you do this the same week over and over again, people are going to get tired of it. So let's put Cena out there in his match and. For the past 10 or 12 years. I know. So, but it was, it was a really good interview as well.
Biggest week in podcasting ever.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling podcasting for sure.
Definitely. So glad to be a part of it. Yay, podcasts.
Podcasting about podcasts.
So, I mean,
Here at the WNS podcast, we cover other podcasts.
That's right. Well, the important
Good stuff.
ones. So,
Important podcasts.
So, yeah. So with that being said,
Did we just do an hour on that?
Yeah, an hour into the show. Let's dive on into Raw. So we'll talk about.
I'm gonna get a drink. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Damn.
I mean, what is there really to talk about? I feel like this episode is kind of just.
Let's talk to you about WWE 2K15 Universe Mode. What's been going on?
I have no idea. I haven't touched it yet. I haven't done it in the universe.
Got a lot of good
I haven't gotten in
feuds
the
going
universe.
on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
who's your main feud going on right now?
Let's see. Raw. We got Bray Wyatt versus Sting.
Oh, nice. Which Sting? Crow Sting or
Crow Sting.
Okay.
I don't mess with the Surfer Sting.
Surfer Sting.
We got Seth Rollins versus John Cena.
Yeah. I bet that one's going pretty well.
Brock
over the
versus
crowd.
Randy Orton because I wanted to see it.
Yeah. Who won?
Finally.
Who won that one?
Brock, and he injured Randy.
Oh. Yeah, I could see that happening. Got to film another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Yeah, I want to dive into the universe one day.
They have a lot of stories, like extra stuff they put in there, and then
Yeah.
once you unlock it, you can pick whatever story in the feud and stuff you want, and they'll play out. It's pretty cool.
Nice. But yeah, I feel like this Raw was kind of lackluster.
I saw some of it.
There was a 20-minute opening segment, and that's something that they talked about on the on Raw. Like Austin was like, "Is it wrong to want more wrestling?" He was like, "I don't care about calling it sports entertainment. I want like when they get in the ring, they're wrestling. That's what they're doing."
Awesome. That is so awesome.
And,
It's definitely changed since he's been.
Yeah,
there.
and that's one thing he was saying. He was like, "When I was doing it, it was wrestling. Now it's sports entertainment. What's the difference?" And Vince was like,
because they're appealing to other entertainment and
Yeah.
stuff. They want to be more than just wrestling.
Yeah, but Vince was like, "Oh, it's storytelling. It's storytelling in the ring. That's all it is." So it's like, no, there's a lot more than that. So yeah, but a 20-minute opening segment with the.
Before we really do put the podcast shit to bed, isn't it so weird that they make it? Austin goes into Vince wanting to be a wrestler, but his dad not wanting him to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like how? Like he wanted in the business as a wrestler. Don't you find it so weird that Vince wanted to be a wrestler, but is like so
now against wrestling,
so intent on calling it anything but that? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I think he's
that.
just obsessed with like spreading it to like, hey, you know how they have the celebrity guests and stuff,
Yeah.
like adding that, and it's like, hey, guess what? We're wrestling, but we're not gonna call it that because we're stars, you know.
Well, wrestling was his father's business. He
Yeah.
says.
Well, he wants to make it bigger, and so he doesn't want it to.
Be pigeonholed.
Yeah. Oh, y'all do that WWE wrestling,
It's entertainment, sir.
Yeah, yes, it's a sports entertainment where you bring in movie stars and celebrities and have a good time and make movies. So, and they fight in the ring sometimes.
But it's what you call it. It's ultimately what you call it doesn't matter. It's like what is presented as.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad that, Austin at least called him out on that. He was like, is it wrong to want wrestling in WWE? So, so we got a 20-minute opening segment featuring the anonymous Raw general manager, John Cena, Seth Rollins, Kane, Ryback, J&J Security, Rowan, Big Show, Ziggler, Harper. Chaos ensues, is all it was. A bunch of chaos. I'm glad that the anonymous general manager didn't have that big of a role throughout the entire evening.
My problem with this is basically what did Team Cena win? They didn't really win anything because the authority went away, but they automatically got another dickhead like authority figure. Like
Yeah.
so they
got Daniel Bryan last week.
Yeah, they got a week off. I mean, so in essence, they didn't win anything.
Yeah. So they got the anonymous Raw general manager to put Cena and Rollins in a match at TLC, a tables match at that. And if Cena loses, he loses his number one contender spot. Oh no! I wonder who's going to win that. So, yeah.
Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins.
I don't think so.
No, it's not.
But, yeah. So it was really
Come on,
weird to
man.
see.
Come on. Do a little bit of hard or self-hard prediction show. We don't know who's going to win. You got to tune into the
It could
prediction
be
show.
anybody at
You got
this
to turn to the
point.
prediction show to find out.
I know it's gonna happen because I'm the Red Onslaught.
It could be anybody. A prediction week's next week, yeah? Think so?
Yeah.
Damn.
So don't blow the spot.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yes. Definitely want to tune in for that to hear our great picks. So, damn. So, that takes us into the first matchup, a tag team turmoil matchup where apparently the tag teams in the WWE, have a elimination style. One gets eliminated, another team comes in, which I like the concept of that, but I felt that there were a few teams that were missing. I'm glad that they put
one for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad that they put one team together to kind of test them out to see how they work. But the opening contest was Goldust and Stardust going up against the debut of The New Day, featuring Big E, Kofi, and Xavier Woods.
What do you think the logic is behind putting together a makeshift tag team and admitting a team that's been tagging for a while? What do you make of that? What do you make of Slater Gator's not on the show at all?
Right.
They are an established team.
Yes.
In a tag gauntlet where we use all the established teams except for them. most of the established.
Yeah, they
teams.
didn't use Los Matadores,
but they had the other tag.
I forgot about those
had a match
guys.
later on.
But we made, and I'm not opposed to seeing Cesaro and Kid tag up. Why not put Slater Gator and use Cesaro and Kid somewhere else?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, right?
Very weird.
But yet they put the Bunny and Adam Rose in there.
Right.
Well, that I understand because
Plays
they
in the
were
storyline.
Well, they were trying to. It was like a two birds one stone type thing. They're like trying to tell another story within the story of this match.
Storyception. So, yeah, we got to see the New Day. It ended up being Big E and Kofi teaming up to go up against Gold and Stardust.
Let me tell you one thing. Their paper, rock, scissors thing, there's no real fucking logic to that. How does that work?
It wasn't paper, rock, scissors. It was
No,
odds,
no, no,
it was
I said-
odds and evens.
But it's a paper, rock, scissors thing is what I said. It's
Right.
odds and evens. Okay, explain this to me because I've never heard of it.
Okay, odds and
It
evens.
looks like bullshit, though.
Basically, you either pick a 1 or a 2.
Right?
And since there's 3 of us, it would be I pick a 1 or 2, Tyler would pick a 1 or 2, you would pick a 1 or 2. So obviously,
Okay.
you know, so we would
we
throw.
we go 1-2 shoot, or are we gonna go 1?
We can do 1-2 shoot.
Okay.
So it'd be like 1, 2 shoot. Okay. So you do 1, I do 1, but he got a 2, so he'd be the odd man out. So you
Oh,
and I
so
would
we're
team
tagging up.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because the way they did it, I'd never seen it before. I was like, that looks fake as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, I got you now.
I
All right.
like that.
My
So
bad,
odds
my
and
bad.
evens. So good stuff. But if we all did 1, then we would just do it again. So
Gotcha.
so yeah, so New Day.
It would be like Vicky threatening into no one wanted to be left out, so we just all keep picking the same thing.
Come on, just pick a 2. Just pick a 2.
Damn it.
So,
I'm the Xavier. Y'all are-
You would be the Xavier Woods of our group.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll be Big E. I'll be Big D. Yeah.
No
Lee.
fucking way I'm being Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, he got that Muay
I'm not
Thai
being-
shit.
Boom. Boom.
I want to be Xavier or Big E. I'm not being Kofi.
3 ain't enough, man. I need 5. So, yeah. So we got to see the debut of the New Day in this tag team turmoil matchup, which I felt was very weird as a way to debut a new stable.
They
Well,
didn't really
they debuted on
debut.
SmackDown.
I was
Yeah,
getting to
that's
that,
right, yeah.
especially since they debuted on SmackDown.
But it's like, oh no, they
They're-
debuted on Raw.
They have been hyped for the past 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks as this new stable. New Day is coming.
They've
All
also
right.
been hyped on SmackDown, though.
Yes,
they play
they
the same
have.
vignettes.
the
Trust me, they play the same vignettes.
the vignette that they aired last week on Raw saying the New Day is here next week on Raw. Then we tune into SmackDown and see that they're debuting on SmackDown.
What they're telling is all those people who don't watch SmackDown, don't worry, they'll be here next week.
So very weird to see. I mean, they got the win on SmackDown. They did not. I mean, they did get a victory in the tag team turmoil, but they did not get the main victory.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, mostly because they didn't outright beat them.
Mm-hmm.
It was a roll up off a distraction,
Yeah.
and they parlayed that into setting up a feud with Goldust and Stardust.
Mhm.
Or we're assuming because that's who interfered with their match.
Right.
But the reason I'm fine, like I will often and at least 99% of the time, like argue that you don't debut a team to beat them, or like it would be too soon for them to lose. But they did it in a way where they didn't actually lose,
Mm-hmm.
like outright, and they set it up to where the winner of the gauntlet is going to feud with the champs. Well, now we
Right.
can build contenders because we can do a separate feud with Goldust and Stardust and the New Day. So this is what we've been asking for a while. Now we're like, it's
Yeah.
not that hard to just build a fucking separate team to challenge with. So that's why I'm not so like.
I can
bullshit
see
about
your
it.
point on that. I just felt it very strange that, one, you debut the new stable before you're originally planned, then you have them debut in a match, where it's like, okay, they're either winning or why are they debuting in this match?
Right.
So I felt that to be a little strange.
As far as the preemptive like debut on SmackDown, I think the word is that they're trying to add importance to SmackDown, and we're going to start seeing stuff like that. So to try and coax people into watching SmackDown more.
Yeah.
Like I guess people like who aren't like us who don't watch SmackDown, like they're like, I'll just catch it on Raw. I don't know. But
I tend to miss SmackDown, but I'll read as far as what happened. So it's like, okay, well, if there's a really, if people are saying, oh, dude, you got to check out this match, I'll make sure to tune in.
right.
But for the most part, I'm like, yeah.
I mean, I watch it, but it's ultimately skippable most weeks.
Yeah. Here's a Raw recap. Here's some more highlights. So, but the
Look
New
at
Day.
the highlights. Let's take a look at some highlights.
The New Day end up defeating Gold and Stardust, which brings out the team of Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. Very strange combination, especially since Tyson's been on a winning streak. Cesaro has been on a losing streak. Very interesting to see how they.
Yeah, a losing streak for Tyson Kidd.
Yeah, the streak is broken, but Cesaro did get a win, only to lose later on.
Make it a win.
Make it a win. That's right. Cesaro Cesaro and Tyson Kidd end up defeating the New Day, like Doug said, after a distraction from Gold and Stardust. What do you think about their chemistry?
It was a little bit shorter
Yeah.
this week, and I think the team was different on SmackDown. It was, it was a trio. Was it? Didn't they do trios on SmackDown? I can't remember.
For the New Day?
Yeah.
No,
It was
They
a
went up
different-
against Slater Gator and Curtis Axel.
It was trios. Yeah. So because I was wondering when they come out, I was like, who are they going to saddle as the quote unquote tag team of the group, and who's going to be the singles guy? But they've clearly been doing this like in house shows and shit, and they just didn't debut the tights and the gimmick until then. They
Right.
probably have been wrestling matches together for months and months.
Right.
They're just so they seem to work together fine. I don't know how much upward mobility this gimmick has. It seems like it's more of a spicing up the mid card thing than like these guys are going to get pushed any higher than they've already been.
Right.
It's just like a new coat of paint for where they've already been. I don't know. Sadly, I mean, I don't know. I think Big E could be something. I'm not sure about Xavier. I'm not the biggest Kofi fan. But I don't know. I don't see where this could go.
Well, I mean, you do know that he is more than just the boom boom guy, right?
I did know that.
Okay. I'm just making sure. But yeah, what about Cesaro and Tyson Kidd? How'd you feel about them?
I don't know how to fucking feel about anything Cesaro is put in because the guy's so fucking good. And
Maybe it's because he's Swiss.
Well, he's not over at the crowd, so
he doesn't connect with the crowd.
connect.
Yeah,
he can't
clearly.
talk.
He can't talk. The guy, I mean, I don't even know what he's saying.
Fuck your 5 languages.
I don't even know what he's saying 80% of the time. Did you catch that? It's math and 80%.
I retire from percentages undefeated. Remember that?
That's right. Okay, well, I was letting you 1/5, which is the English.
60% of the time, it works every
I can't
time.
confirm or deny that because I'm retired from percentages.
Okay. Well, 4 of the
Undefeated.
5.
I'm undefeated.
I'm letting you know 4 of the 5 languages he speaks I don't understand. So that's 80%. So the
You
fifth-
understand all
Fifth
of
would
them.
be English. Okay. Thank you for acknowledging that by nodding.
I
appreciate that. But you would be correct in that percentage.
I don't want to risk it.
His reputation.
I'm undefeated in percentages. And I'm retiring.
Listen,
undefeated.
give us the stat on that. 80%. So, all right. So, Usos end up defeating Cesaro and Tyson Kidd in the tag team turmoil matchup, which brings
Anybody who
out
fucking gets that other than Lawson is a real fucking listener.
yes. So that brings out Adam Rose and the Bunny for storyline purposes. Usos end up defeating Rose and the Bunny to become the number 1 contenders.
Speaking of Usos, I was playing as one of the guys singles match on WWE 2K15, and I have a bad habit of taunting all the time. And every time they go, "Ooh," I do that like the whole time. I keep on going, "Ooh." Every time I hit them, I just go, "Ooh." I keep on doing it over and over and over. It's kind of fun.
With Mark Henry, I'm always doing "That's what I do" taunt. It's like the down taunt. He's always like, "That's what I do." Oh, dude, check this shit out. I was just dicking around and putting like weird managers and valets with guys just randomly, and I was playing with like Luke Harper with I think Heyman as my manager, and then I was fighting somebody, and then I just had like Summer Rae randomly with him. It was people who didn't go together. I was just dicking around, but I go for a pinfall.
Summer Rae's face. Holy God.
Huh?
I said Summer Rae's face. Holy
yeah,
God.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that poor lady's face in that game. I went for a pinfall, and she climbs up on the ropes to go for a distraction, and I rebounded off the ropes and gave her a big boot. And they DQ'd me automatically, even though when you hit guys in the game, it just knocks them off the apron.
The girl.
You son of a bitch!
She interfered in my match. I gave her the big boot, and they DQ'd me just because she was a lady.
Well, that's
So don't give big boots to ladies in the game.
Damn it! Because I know for like in the old games they would do like, hey man, you could do girls versus guys.
Yeah.
And they got to it where it's intergender matches. But if the guy tagged in the other person, if it was a girl, they had to tag into a guy automatically.
Yeah.
But if you ran and hit the girl, disqualification. But if you were a girl and there's a guy in the ring, he's automatically going to tag. But if you run and hit the guy, there's no DQ.
Well, the whole thing is like I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like,
Fuck that.
when someone's on the apron, you'd give them the run and knock them off the apron move, and it
Gender
was
equality all the way.
Maybe you try to fuck up her face a little bit more.
I might have fixed her fucking face.
Damn.
Talking about the game,
Oh,
somewhere.
right.
2K15. Come on, guys.
Her face is fucked up.
Come on, guys.
If you haven't seen the Fandango entrance, oh my god.
God, dude, if you have 2K15 and you haven't seen Fandango's entrance or played with Summer Rae, her face is fucked up in that game.
Yeah,
it's
it
weird.
is.
It's weird.
It is very weird. So, yeah, with that being said, Usos become the new #1 contenders to tag titles.
You really, when next time you play, just do that for a while. It's quite fun. Ooh. No,
Does
the
the
crowd
crowd
is,
say-
no, it doesn't.
They don't even say so?
No,
What are you
Aw.
gonna do?
not that I heard.
I think so.
You probably have to build up momentum or something.
I don't know. I
Get the
didn't.
crowd behind you. Get them going. So, yeah, after that, Miz and Ms. Dow approached Naomi saying, hey, I like the way you shake that ass in your new music video.
Twerk.
Here's my card.
The position will shake that ass.
Oh, he said twerk,
Twerk.
but, getting the point across. And then Ms. Dow hands her a card as well. I'm getting tired of the Ms. Dow, like,
Oh,
moving
you finally getting tired now?
Well, like, I don't mind the motion mimicking and stuff as much, but it's when he's
Ooh, I do.
just moving his lips, just.
What do you think about him slowly doing his own thing, like a little bit like he'll, like, instead of Miz, he goes, in Miz down, he goes, don't improvise.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's slowly.
They're building
Yeah.
small amounts of tension.
The steps are starting to show tension. So, anyway, so yeah. Really interesting. So they're finally acknowledging Naomi is married to Jimmy or Jay or one of the Usos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now just about all of the divas have their marriage out in the open. Right?
All the ones that I can think of.
All the ones that are married.
Yeah, all
They
the
haven't acknowledged Nikki and John Cena, but
They're not
they're
married.
not. Well, yeah, that's true.
I think they've acknowledged it, right?
I mean, we haven't seen any
that I
interaction between
remember.
those two.
Mm. All right.
So maybe because she's heel and he doesn't want anything to do with that.
Man, they haven't mentioned about, they haven't done a guest star.
maybe they break up.
Maybe it's because she's trying to lock him down.
Yeah.
He's like, Nope.
Vinny hasn't guest starred yet on Raw, and they haven't done, Vinny and,
that's how I want as a guest star.
yeah, man.
So
He's like free hookahs for everybody.
So after that, we get a backstage segment with Eric Rowan piddling with a Rubik's
Vinny's
Cube.
the anonymous Raw general manager.
I like how they did the backstory for Eric Rowan in a backstage segment. They were like, oh, you have a high IQ. Why don't you like Big Show? He's a bully. Okay. Here's a completely solved Rubik's Cube now. I got to go out here now.
Oh, he knows how to
Okay,
play
bye.
guitars.
Yeah, you. That was such an odd fact to put in.
Yeah.
It's like you're a wine connoisseur and you're a master at the guitar. It's like, okay.
Do that air guitar move again. I've never seen an actual person play guitar that way.
That's what I'm gonna do once I play guitar.
Next week,
That's what they're
Rowan
gonna be
comes out.
doing.
He comes out Van Hammer style. He's got like the guitar. Like,
Good stuff. So yeah, Big Show comes out and he's like, "You're damn right. You're damn right." And I kept waiting for him to do the
Damn right, I'm a bully.
Road Dogg promo, but he did not. Eric Rowan comes out and they battle, in the ring, outside the ring. Big Show gets himself disqualified by
Man
hitting
Mountain
Eric
Rock
Rowan.
is his new manager. I'm sorry, I'm still late.
But Big Show gets himself disqualified by hitting Eric Rowan with the steel steps. Rowan goes down. Big Show chucks the stairs down, and the stairs land right on Rowan's head. That was a big thud, too. And it left quite a little knot on the top of his head by the end of the night.
Damn.
So it looks like we'll be seeing this feud continue. Maybe at TLC they'll have a matchup. So be on the lookout for that. Probably a pre-show or something. Next up, we're supposed to see Fandango going up against Jack Swagger, but Jack Swagger did not come out because Zeb Coulter was apparently attacked backstage, and Swagger decided to tend to him.
And last week, you're about to mention Rusev, but last week we were like, they said he would have to defend his title against a a bunch of people,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't give him any consequences. Well, they actually did it on SmackDown.
On SmackDown.
And he fucking won the fucker. Which I like that they did it. I like
Yeah.
that they followed through and that he won still. So, yeah.
Rusev. So I guess they saw a lot of people calling him out on that, and they're like, "Oh shit, we forgot about that." So yeah. I don't know how I feel about Fandango. I really don't know how I feel about Rosa Mendez.
She's not good.
no.
I sort of like the change up for Fandango. I sort of like the darker. It's like a subtle twist, and I'm okay with it. It's not a main event gimmick or anything, but I mean, like, it's a nice change of pace from what they've been doing.
I think Summer Rae could dance better than Rosa is dancing. It looks so awkward the way she's doing it.
Rosa seems like a real nice lady on Total Divas. She obviously wants to be just loved by everyone, but she's really bad at everything she does.
Oh my god.
And I feel bad. I'm sorry, Rosa.
She likes being naked.
You're a nice lady, Rosa, but
She
you're
likes
really
being
bad.
naked, though.
You're really bad at everything you do. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's terrible.
I said she was nice. I'm not trying to be a dick. She's just not good at anything.
So Fandango ends up getting the win via forfeit, and then Rusev comes out to, do his spiel. And
Speaking of Rusev, back to the podcast. So there was another thing CM Punk said. I guess the Royal Rumble, whatever. Rusev was afraid to do anything with him.
Go out there, beat the hell out of me, and do whatever you gotta do. Don't just kick me in a corner. Make a statement.
Yeah.
This is your time to shine. So Rusev. Yeah. But yeah, looks like we're going back to the Swagger Rusev feud, which I mean it's good. They don't really have anyone to go up against Rusev, and Swagger doesn't really have anything going for him right now.
Yeah, it just feels like such a step backwards.
It does
for Rusev.
Yeah, although they could always do the Swagger saying, "Oh, I've learned from the mistakes. I've watched that."
But ultimately, he can't win.
Yeah, he can't. No. And if he does, then it's really a step back.
Rusev versus Sting.
No,
that's not happening.
No. So, anyways, after that, we got to see Damien Mizdow going up against Fernando as the Miz is on commentary, and I thought it was
this shit was so fucking weird.
Yeah, very strange, and I thought it was very weird that Mizdow wasn't sitting in a chair because he normally copies what Miz is doing. I guess he gave him.
Well, he had the match.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just making a very bad joke.
I got the joke.
Okay. Shut up.
How weird of an angle is this? Super weird, right?
With Jimmy?
Yeah, he comes out and slaps
the hell out of Miz.
Well, at first I
talking to
thought
his
he
girl.
punched him. I thought he punched him from the angle.
From the first angle, it did look like he ducked him, but it was a
Yeah.
slap from the second angle.
Walked out with intent. He knew
Well,
what he was
from Total
doing.
Divas, isn't he kind of like he is kind of like jealous if anyone talks to his wife, right? Or he was the first.
Stay away from my wife.
It's just a weird angle because although Miz is sort of a slimeball-esque guy, he didn't actually do anything like super inappropriate or cross the line.
I like the way you twerk.
He didn't
Twerk
say
for me
twerk, did
in
he?
my bedroom.
Did Miz say twerk? That was
Or,
King. King kept saying the twerk shit.
No, he
he
said
said
he said in the
twerk.
promo.
I saw your music video and you did good twerking.
Yeah.
Even though Miz is sort of a slimeball, it does just feel like a Hollywood slimeball type thing. It was like it didn't feel like he was super inappropriate or anything, right?
Yeah.
It came more across like Jimmy is super
whipped his dick out.
overprotective, like
Right.
to an extreme, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's so weird because Jimmy should be the babyface. If
And the reason why he didn't do that to Brodus Clay is because Brodus Clay is a much larger man than The Miz.
sure, what is he typing over there?
Whipped his, let me guess, dick out and flipped him off.
Yeah.
Why do you
okay.
keep talking about whipping dick?
why are people whipping dicks? It's all they swinging dicks around my girlfriend. So, yeah. So, yeah, it was interesting to see, like, Jimmy show the aggression that he did. And I like that Jay came out there just to watch.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, and then Jimmy walked off, and Jay was like, "Oh, you got knocked out." So, kind of interesting.
I didn't see that. I thought he was like he looked at his brother like, "What the fuck, man?"
Well, at first he was like, "What are you doing?" And then he was like, "Oh my god," like he decked him.
But seriously, if Miz is supposed to be the heel in this, they've got to make Miz the slimeball and not Jimmy because Jimmy came off as the the guy who went too far.
Yeah.
Don't fucking talk to my wife.
Don't you talk to her.
Don't even try to help her out and get us more money.
He's like super overprotective, like my wife can't leave the house guy. And
Uh-oh.
that's how he came off in this. Like,
Yeah.
you talked to my wife?
Oh my
Fuck
gosh, no one's supposed to interact with my wife but me.
Ooh. No? All right. So that takes us. Well, no, too late. So the next matchup. Nope. I'm too late. So no. The next match is Bray. Nope. So we got to see Bray Wyatt go up against R-Truth. Quick matchup. Bray Wyatt ends up getting the victory. Makes short work of R-Truth. And then begins tossing chairs and ladders and tables and all kinds of crazy madness into the ring. And he cuts a promo. And I don't really know what he was talking about. But sounded cool. And then SpongeBob, yeah. Then Dean Ambrose came out and was looking for a fight, and so they fought for a little bit. And Ambrose decided it would be best interest to break Bray Wyatt's rocking chair.
Oh my gosh.
And that seemed to set off fuse off in Bray Wyatt. He seemed very
grandma gave him
unhappy
that.
about that.
Yep.
Is it me, or does this feud not have any legs going right now? It seems to be like at a dead stop. To be honest, I completely forgot that this feud was happening until I saw Bray Wyatt in the match.
I didn't forget that they were feuding. It just seems really heatless to me.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fire to this. It's the crazy guy and the crazy guy couldn't possibly feel more tamer, more like
Safe.
More safe. I don't know, man. Like, for the personalities that they are trying to tell you these guys have, it feels like too safe.
The lunatic fringe as he walks down the ramp. And he broke the rocking chair.
For the- Oh my
what a nutcase.
For the way that they want you to think these two guys are, someone should have been stabbed in the neck with a screwdriver by now.
Oh my God.
Oh my god, this guy crazier.
It really is a lunatic.
And obviously you can't do that, but that's how they're trying to sell these guys, right?
Yeah, just whip your dick out and start flipping people off.
Someone should have got stabbed in the dick with a screwdriver.
That would be fucking crazy.
Oh God.
Then break his rocket ship.
I don't know. They really need to pick up the pace for this matchup, especially if no, they don't need to do that. So the next matchup, we got to see AJ Lee teaming up with the winner of the votes, the only Cyber Monday deal that they had talked about. The whole reason for bringing back the anonymous general manager. Oh, it's Cyber Monday. You pick the match and everything. This was the only one that they got to vote on. The choices were Naomi, Natalya, or Alicia Fox. They chose Naomi, I guess, because she was on TV and got some focus earlier.
Did you guys do any Cyber Monday or Black Friday shopping?
I did not.
I did a little bit of shopping on Thanksgiving. As I was driving home, I looked at my fiance and I was like, "Hey, you want to walk into Best Buy real quick?" And
They opened it up like
they opened it at 5, but we got there at 6, so we missed all the madness.
They cleared that bitch out in just an hour.
So calm. I mean, it was it was busy. There were a lot of people there, but it was very calm.
So they worked the crazies in and out, and then everyone else was still doing Thanksgiving stuff, and you got to sort of.
Well, no, I mean,
It was busy, but not nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like they had a barricade that went, like a gate leading up to the door that people were waiting in line for.
I passed that Best Buy on the way to my Thanksgiving, and they were lined up around the building already. And this was like it.
Well, we were in the one in Beaumont.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, cool.
I went to my sister hosted this year, and they lived in
okay,
Beaumont, so.
nice. But yeah, so we went there, and the gate everyone had already been cleared through, because I mean, I guess there were a lot of TVs on sale, and I was tempted, but I was like, nah, I can wait.
Would you get anything you can say?
Yeah, I got some PlayStation accessories. I got two. We got 2 controllers, the PlayStation camera that you can set up
For the
playroom,
for like the playroom
yeah.
and all that, and that's pretty fun.
We're gonna swat some robots next.
Hell
time.
yeah,
Fuck
we are.
yeah.
You can
And
kick
we'll
them too.
put it on Twitch.
Yeah, and so yeah, we can put it on Twitch now. And I also got a headset with a microphone, so that way I can instead of just having the one earpiece.
How much that set you back?
$30. $30.
No, it was $240 worth of.
I thought you were gonna say the headset.
stuff.
Where I was like, you
No.
are fucking nuts.
No, I would never do that. The headset that I got was like originally like $60, and I got it for like $40. So like all the stuff that we got was pretty good. It was like $240 worth of merchandise that we got for $160. So it's not like a huge deal that we got, but it was enough for us to be like, okay, let's go ahead and get it.
We were done anyway. We might as well.
The controllers, the PlayStation 4 controllers themselves are $60. So if we,
I need another one of those.
Oh, me too. I only have one.
Yeah, and so we have 3 now. So if you guys ever want to come over and you don't have to worry
What
about
colors are they?
got them both white.
Sweet.
To go with my PlayStation. So
Yeah, I mean, I went to certain stores
Emoji
Friday.
black, motherfucker.
I mean, the only thing I bought some things from comic book shops. They were had some prices off at the comic book shops since it was Black Friday and stuff. I mean, but I didn't buy too much. I bought like about. The dude has like a box full of random cards and stuff, a lot of Marvel stuff. So I bought that, and I bought a toy. You know, like the old X-Men things that old toys, whatever. I bought the box of the old X-Jet.
nice.
And it was actually $35, but I bought for $20.
That's cool. I bought one other thing, and it was my fiance's family wanted to take pictures, and so they were like, "Wear a solid white polo." I'm like, "I don't have a white polo," so I went to a store and got like a really nice polo. I think it was like originally $42, and I got it for $11. I was like, "Damn, I should consider getting more," but I was like, "I'm never gonna wear these." So, but other than that, not too bad. So, did you get anything?
Just wrestling DVDs.
Nice.
Also, how much off did you get?
High Spots had a 35% off sale. Smart Mark had a 25% off sale. Ring of Honor had a 35% off sale.
Did you get a lot?
Do you know who you're fucking talking to?
Yeah, okay. I haven't been to your apartment in a long time.
He got what he doesn't have now.
Last time I went to and saw your shelves, you had a lot. I can't imagine how much you have now. And you still have a lot that's not even opened, huh?
I have a lot of pro wrestling DVDs for a man who's actually had sex. Believe it or not, I'm not a virgin. And I have a lot of pro wrestling.
Hey, I got a pretty nice collection, and probably not as large as yours.
Oh
But
my gosh, this is
wrestling
fucking
collection
humongous.
is quite nice. I think.
It is very nice.
Yeah, not too bad.
I said very nice.
Okay. I know my Blu-ray collection and DVD collection is larger.
I don't have that much. I have probably about like 12 at most.
Yeah. So, but since I was like saving up for the ring and we got the network and all that, I've kind of stopped buying wrestling DVDs and normal Blu-rays unless it's like a movie that I was like,
I almost got
it.
I was real close to buying a laptop at like a couple of.
Ooh.
I got Sushant on the case. I was like, yo, this is what I need. Just don't let me overspend by too much. And then I almost went and overspent blindly anyway. But yeah. So I'm gonna probably hopefully get a laptop before the year's end.
So did he help you out? You know what you want?
He sent me he emailed me a list of some shit to check out. So.
Cool. Cool deal. So the match we got to see AJ Lee teaming up with Naomi to defeat the Bella Twins. Whatevs. I don't really. I'm kind of indifferent about that. Nope. So next up, we got to see Paul Heyman at the WWE headquarters.
Oh, and Dragon Gate Evolve had DVDs for $10.
Nice. Did anyone have the DVDs of the events that we attended?
Well, you already have the Ring of Honor.
Well, yeah, I have that one.
The Evolve shows aren't out yet.
Son of a bitch.
I told you it was going to be a while.
I know. They need to hurry up on that.
Well, they rebooted at 30. And
Kaiju.
They started like an on-demand service. So you could probably get the VODs, but if you're looking for discs, they're not made yet.
I want discs.
Well, they rebooted, quote unquote, and they started producing at the reboot, and they're trying to catch up in the meantime from behind. So it's gonna be a little bit. Sorry.
Dang it.
It happens.
So we got to see Paul Heyman talking about his client Brock Lesnar. To be honest, I don't even know what he said. I was not even paying attention to what he was saying. I was too busy focusing at all the screens behind him that showed him on a delay, and there were 2 different delays. So I was insanely distracted. Is there anything that I missed? I heard it was kind of mostly filler.
Probably not.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, don't forget, Brock Lesnar is associated with this company.
Yeah, he is still the champion, so just remember that. So, what else? that takes us to the main event. John Cena,
Ziggler, and
Dolph
Hardy.
Ziggler. Huh?
John Cena, Ziggler, and Hardy
Hardy?
versus Rollins. Remember that's what Punk called him?
Called Ryback Hardy.
Hardy.
Yeah, he's like, he's very Hardy.
Very Hardy. Okay.
He also referred to him as a steroid guy. So that's a big fucking allegation right there.
Yep.
He also referred to Triple H. He also questioned Triple H's physique being natural or not as well.
Yes.
Because I guess he apparently felt insulted that they asked him to take a drug test. He's like, I'm not fucking.
I've got
anything.
drug-free tattooed on my hands.
He was like, it's everyone has to do it. And apparently he said to Triple H, "Can you pass a fucking test?"
Can you do it? Can you do it right now? And
Be
there
a
was,
fly
and there
in
was
the-
silence in the room.
That's what he says. I mean, is a pretty badass thing to say if you actually said
Yeah.
it. It may just
If
be.
that was true, it'd be a fly in the room, man. That'd be fucking awesome.
I mean, like, that's so good. I want to believe he actually said it, but it's so good. I don't know if I believe he actually said it.
It's almost too good to believe that he would say it. But so Cena, Ziggler, Ryback going up against Rollins, Kane, and Harper. This was like a 30-minute matchup. They had 2 commercial breaks in between. Because I remember I was running the Twitter for the main site.
The keys to the kingdom?
I did for one night only. So I was running the show there. I made sure to plug the podcast a few times. Got us some new followers, which is cool.
You're just plugging Tyler over and over on the main.
I knew I was forgetting something. Damn it! I plugged myself and I plugged the podcast. I forgot to plug Tyler to get us on
all you do is follow Tyler with like hashtag WWE, hashtag Raw.
hashtag.
Tell
follow
him to
A-Bear.
come back.
Yeah, come back, A-Bear. So
We need you.
one day I'm just gonna get Daryl to take your phone and download Twitter and bring all that stuff back on you.
Dude, I don't even fucking remember the password.
You're killing me here.
But I have some.
Just put in for a password reset.
Yes.
You can do that as well. Yes. Yes. Indubitably. So, anything to really talk about in this matchup? No, kind of passable. What else?
It was your like multi-man WWE TV main event.
Yeah.
To the T, right?
Yeah, the big fallout. Everyone doing what they do. And
Hungry.
what else? Cena, Ziggler, and Ryback end up getting the victory. Big Show comes out. Then Rowan comes out. What do you think about them calling Rowan Big Red? Big Red Rowan.
Big
weird.
Red Rowan.
Yeah.
You
Red
like
Row.
that song,
Red
man?
Row.
Ding, ding, ding. Whatever, the Rowan song.
I do like it. I'm digging it. It's something I'm liking.
I guess I don't have to ask you can you dig it?
Sucka. Yes.
You guys surprised the crowd didn't let Ryback have it after all the Punk allegations? Because they changed they did the C. I mean, I'm not saying they should have or I would have liked them to. I'm saying I'm surprised that they didn't because they still do it during AJ's matches. They chant for Punk and stuff.
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised that the Ryback they didn't give it to him.
What?
You know
We
what I
need
mean?
to get some Hardy chants going on.
Hurdy. Dumbass fuck. Dumbass fuck. So that's how
horrible.
we close out Raw. There were some pretty funny signs though.
And so see that happening. Like like when Punk said I asked Triple H if he could pass the drug test, I'm like, that's good, but I don't know if I believe it. When Punk says I said Ryback, you're either dumb as shit or you're hurting me on purpose, and he said I'm dumb as
dumb
shit,
as
so I'm
fuck.
sorry. I fucking believe that.
Yeah.
I can see
dumb
those
as fuck,
words
I'm
coming
sorry.
out of Ryback's mouth.
Yeah.
You want to get some Cracker Barrel?
So that closes out Raw. Something to look forward to next week. The Slammies are back. Gonna be what?
That's funny how you said that.
The Slammies are
The
back.
promos for this were so weird. They kept doing the it can suplex itself thing. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean?
He's in.
I don't
He's-
fucking know.
He's plated in gold.
But he's also solid gold or something like that. Like
He can suplex himself.
I think they're trying to do like the Dos Equis most interesting man in the world
Right.
ripoff, and it fell flat on his face.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? He can
is
suplex
the
himself.
Slammy. And he's coming to Raw next week.
So, hosted by Seth Green. So, yeah, you better patch that up. Just don't let it tear the shield. Nothing tears that shield. So, hosted by Seth Green. I'm sure it'll be
Hosted by
okay.
Hardy.
I'm sure he'll make some jokes, and if he does a Chris laugh, I'll be okay. Good stuff. Other bit of hot topic news. It said that
If he turns into a werewolf, I'm gonna mark out.
It said that Mike Tenay is going to be replaced by Josh
Buffy the Vampire
Matthews
Slayer.
on TNA commentary. What?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Nice.
You
So,
ever seen that show?
I didn't watch it. I watched the movie a long time ago, but never got into the show. So, what are your thoughts on Josh Matthews replacing Mike Tenay?
I guess those guys have to have work.
Yeah.
Like what's it called?
Tenay's
Matt
not
Striker.
out of a job.
Matt Striker is doing
Lucha.
Lucha Underground,
Yeah.
and I mean, good for Josh Matthews, I guess.
I'd like
Yeah.
to see Tenay get the second chair for Wrestle Kingdom with JR. I don't think that
That'd be interesting.
I don't think they've announced his.
Color commentary?
Yeah. So
Not yet. But I know Tenay is not out of a job. He's still going to be with TNA.
no, I know, but,
But
I mean,
that would be pretty interesting to see.
Who's with today? Who? Oh, Taz.
Taz.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's going to be
so
Taz and Josh Matthews.
Old
Which-
days, I guess. Or
Yeah.
they worked. Yeah, they worked.
I think they work SmackDown. So it should be interesting to see their chemistry again. I don't know. Like, Tenay, when he was in WCW, I dug it. Like, I was like, this guy's really good.
he
But-
doesn't give a fuck in TNA, and why would he? Because
Yeah.
they don't give him a lot of reason to.
And yeah, TNA, I cannot get into it. Like, someone will come out and be like, last week, you all saw what I did to him. Oh, yes, we did. And it was terrible. Like, he's talking to the guy in the ring who can't hear him.
Yeah.
I'm like, just stop. But, there are other.
It's a different way. I mean,
Yeah.
Tenay is like a guy who's knowledgeable about or at least at one time he was knowledgeable about lucha and Japanese dudes. So that's why I
Yeah.
would say that I would like to see him
Bring Mike
get the
Tenay
call.
into WWE.
No. So, so be on the lookout for that. Josh Matthews on TNA. So, with that being said, any other Hot Topic news that you guys know of?
New Japan World is the thing, and it happened. It's probably super hard to. There are tutorials out there that can tell you, that can translate the pages for you,
Yeah.
and apparently they will accept English credit cards. But I'm gonna let it ride for a little bit longer before I roll the dice on it.
Yeah.
Make
Before you
sure
take a chance.
before I make sure. I mean,
You'll
it's,
get one of those Visa prepaid cards and use that.
people are saying it fucking works. I mean, it's in Japanese, but people are saying it's a cool deal. But I got some laptop and internet issues to sort out anyway. But but it's a real deal and it happens. It's actually like 9,999 yen, which I think is like 8 something a month, which is cheaper than the WWE network. They got shit going all the way back to the 70s. I think they're doing
Damn.
I think they're doing the
Damn.
shit that WWE is not doing. They're just like, here's all our shit. You wanna watch
Here's
this?
everything.
Wow.
Lay it all out on the table.
That's my understanding. I haven't seen it actually, but
Speaking of hot topics, I just thought of something before we get into questions. AJ Styles
Yeah.
with I saw the video.
First he did to Yoshitatsu. That was
no.
nasty.
First he did to a guy a while back, some British wrestler.
Yeah.
Lionheart.
And then now Yoshitatsu. Now there's another person,
Yes.
Well, the very first one was Roderick Strong in Ring of Honor.
but he didn't break his neck, did he?
He didn't break it, but he hurt him, so he got a stinger on it. Then it was the Lionheart guy. Then it was Yoshitatsu.
Which
And
that
thi-
was broken.
And this most recent one was Kojima. But the Kojima is a separate instance than the rest. The Kojima one, AJ was off balance and did it anyway. The Kojima one looks to have been AJ Styles' fault. The rest are the guys didn't take
Yeah,
the
because I
move.
saw
Yeah.
Yoshitatsu didn't tuck his head or whatever.
You're not supposed to
you're
tuck.
not
You're
supposed
supposed to
not
look
tuck
up.
or look up. That's what I mean.
He tucked.
What I mean is he didn't move it up when he.
Yeah. He landed right on his
Here,
forehead.
the thing is that, like Daniel said, is from the position that you're in, your instinct is to tuck, but you're not supposed to tuck.
Yeah.
And when you tuck, you leave.
When
your
you
head
land
up.
on your back, you tuck your chin. When you land on your chest, you look up.
That's what I mean. Sorry, I
When-
meant go back.
when
then.
they tuck, they're inverted and they're tucking, so it's like spiking their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
Well, the-
that's what I meant.
There's a lot of outpouring of people saying AJ stop doing the move, or is he at risk? But AJ
Right.
did that move for like a decade before anyone
Yeah.
ever got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And people are, I guess he's working different people now, or he's more frequently working different people because he's out of the TNA system. He's working guys all over the place. Maybe there's a language barrier, whatever. My understanding, the Kojima looks to be his fault, but the rest are the guys they tuck their chin and they shouldn't have.
Yeah. So tough break. Not gonna say that.
It's not fucking
Break-
cool.
oh,
yeah.
I mean, it's not
It's-
fucking. I mean, like it sucks that
Tatsu's not gonna wrestle again.
Did they say that?
No, I mean if you broke your neck, I mean,
people
Angle
broke-
came back from
yeah.
her neck. Austin
He won
came-
the Olympic gold with a broken freaking neck.
Austin came back from a break. It doesn't mean his career is over. It's a very serious injury. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, but he doesn't mean he's done. But
So,
yeah,
hopefully they can all recover.
I think too many people are saying like who don't necessarily understand how it happens, the logistics of it, or throwing like too much blame around.
Yeah. So there you go. With that being said, it's time to go into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. First question come to us from Thomas. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son. Drop it low, son.
What's wrong with y'all? Saying, hey, fellas, we finally reached December, and I, for one, have been getting into the festive mood as I've begun to look forward
Oh, you know
to
what we should
December
try?
25th.
Drop it ho, son. Drop it ho, 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 son.
I like that.
For Christmas?
Yeah.
We'll Christmas it up a little bit.
Hell yeah.
He likes Christmas.
We'll
Let's
do that.
try that.
Okay.
Drop
it ho, son. Drop it ho, 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 son.
God.
I like it. We'll perfect it and we'll put out a demo of it
Yeah.
and there's some, like Santa Claus going ho in the background, like some jingle bells.
Yeah.
We'll put some
Yeah.
music to that shit,
it'll
and
be
you'll
good.
like
we
it,
will.
Thomas.
Yeah, just
Well,
like
you
that.
help us out.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, okay. So Thomas says we're looking forward to December 25th, but he wants to know what is Christmas Day like around your houses? What kind of stuff do you get up to? What's being served for Christmas dinner? Do you have any distinct traditions, etc.? Also, how sorted are you right now in the gift department? I know I'm one of those folk who get everything sorted super early, and I want to know what your guys' plans or are you guys planners or last minute people? Keep up the fine work. Till next week, my friends.
Everything has just been different. Like when I was younger, I mean, it's different than now. I feel like I liked Christmas more than now. Then for a while, I didn't really like that much. And then I liked it the year that we lived together.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds weird, but there was a cool feeling. It was just like, just me and you there. And I
Just a
remember,
couple of dudes
I
under a
remember
tree.
one day, we didn't have, I guess we had our separate heaters. I was in my Snuggie.
God.
And I was like right in front of the TV playing Saints Row. I was like, this is awesome Christmas.
No, was it Christmas Eve night or was it Christmas Day night that we just like after whatever we did, we went back to y'all's place and we were just like getting drunk and playing video games all night.
Yeah.
Was it day or night? I don't know.
Night, I think.
It had to have been night.
That
I
shit
think
was
some
fun.
other people came by too. It was like his little thing.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was fun.
It wasn't Friendsgiving, but
No,
it
no,
was
no. It
a
wasn't
Christmas
Friendsgiving.
celebration.
And then also, I mean, I pick gifts,
Kind of
2 or
missed
3
that house.
months before. Do it.
So I kind of missed that house.
It was fun. I liked it. And 3 months before. But this year's a little different. I haven't got any gifts and it's last minute and it sucks right now. So I think starting next year, I'm gonna start getting gifts really, really early and just putting them up for people because that really will help out.
How about you, Doug?
Well, this hasn't happened in a few years, mostly because like I'm getting older. I've been growing up. Well, that's debatable. I'm getting older. My
You're
friends are
aging.
getting older. A lot of them don't live here anymore. A lot of people are sort of, out of the area doing family stuff, busy. But for a large portion of my 20s, like just my friends were like so like sort of associated with like the local music scene, and like on Christmas night for many years, like we did like they would have like these impromptu like shows at their practice space on Christmas night, like after everyone had done their family shit. We would just all get drunk and listen to our like friends' bands play over, and I sort of miss that. As far as like on the family scene, our family is sort of like a Christmas Eve is the event and Christmas Day is the afterthought. That may seem weird to some people. To me, Christmas Day feels like Thanksgiving. It's just like we just go over there and we eat wherever we're gathering, and we're like, oh, hey, I got this shit. What did you get? Is that kind of a thing. But I think that's because as how we were growing up, Santa Claus came on Christmas Eve for us. So we would go to our grandparents traditionally on Christmas Eve. When we got back from our grandparents, like Santa Claus would be there with a shit ton of fucking presents. Like that's when we would get it.
There's
it's
also,
sort of a weird
Yeah.
thing. It's Christmas Eve is sort of the main event in my family.
There's also a time period where like each holiday, and I know we don't do it too much now, but it was like when you come over, we would eat and like everyone's talking. It's like let's go play video games.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Tyler used to we were like, people would just be like, what is something that comes on TV on Christmas?
Football.
Christmas Story.
Yeah, football or Christmas or whatever. People would gather up doing that shit, and me and Tyler would shuffle off and play SmackDown versus Raw or something.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, but yeah, Christmas Eve is sort of the main event. Christmas Day is sort of the afterthought. As far as I know what I'm getting for everybody, that I'm getting something, I just haven't got them all bought yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like getting stuff, but I feel like happy giving to people,
Yeah.
But now, this Christmas, I'm ready for this shit to pass.
Ready to be
I'm
over
not
with
gonna
it.
be like that forever. I mean, I'm gonna make a special one later on when I have kids, but right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just eh. And plus, all the stuff getting ready for the wedding, and it's last minute shopping. I'm I just want this shit to pass.
Well, I sort of the magic of Christmas is sort of gone for me, mostly because I'm bad at giving gifts because I only know what I would want, and I can't. I have this inability to put myself in someone else's shoes. I don't know what the fuck I could buy anybody else. I only know what I would get myself, and I'm also impossible to buy for because I'm not a guy who puts stuff off or saves for something. If I want it, I just go and fucking buy it.
Yep.
So I can't buy for anybody else, and nobody can buy for me. It's just a fucking mess
Well,
every year.
you get some surprise stuff.
Sure, but I mean, it's just you can't. You're not gonna ever come up and be like, Doug's been talking about this, and I know he didn't bought it. I'm gonna get it for him. No, I didn't bought that hoe the second I decided I wanted it.
I've been the same way. My fiance is now okay, starting on this date, this is the second year we've done it. Starting on this date, you can't buy anything for yourself.
Right.
So I'm okay, something between now and Christmas is going to come out that they're going to buy me. So.
Part of my tradition is every year, I wear the same. I've worn the same exact pair of shoes for I get variation pairs every once in a while, but for probably 15 years or so, I've worn the same shoes, and traditionally now, because I'm impossible to buy for, my mom always gets me a pair of low top black Converse Chuck Taylors every year as part of my present. So
nice.
She's always like, what do you want? I was like, well, get the shoes, and then I don't know, we'll fucking think of something.
Give me a gift card.
Well, this year is different. A lot of people are ask, what do you want? And I'm since I've lost my weight, I'd have no clothes that really fit me. I have to have a belt. And I was just give me a gift card to clothes, clothing stores. Because also, there's a lot of things I want, but I haven't told people like that statue. No one else really knows about that Cyclops statue. I'm buying that fucking bitch because I want to buy it.
I'm getting you guys gift cards to the sex shop.
All right.
All right.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
That was a big black dildo.
I'm just gonna whip the dick out and start flinging people off.
Yeah.
So as far as my family goes, it's pretty similar with Doug. We would go to my grandparents' house on Christmas Eve.
That's y'all's main event?
Kind of. Well, I mean, we'd have co-main events.
Right.
So which is
that
just
a,
as
is that
important.
a nice way of saying
It's just as important.
Pay me like I'm in the main event, bitch. I had the best match on the card.
But we would go to the
Did you watch your match?
we would normally, at Thanksgiving we would normally draw a family member's name. We'd buy them a gift, and then we'd buy grandparents Christmas presents, and we'd buy our godparents a Christmas present, or they'd buy one for us. So on Christmas we'd go to the grandparents' house, open up the presents, eat dinner, and then we'd go home. Christmas morning, close family, mom and sister, we'd open up presents there, and then we go to grandparents' house and eat lunch. And as far as preparation, I want to say for the past 5 years or so, I've been very organized. There were a few years in a row where I had a theme for everything. One year I got everyone a season of their favorite TV show on DVD.
Nice.
Or I would get them, something to somewhere that were all related.
Right.
And then I would always get my mom something that she needed that she didn't know she needed. So it would always be like an accessory to something.
How would you know that if she didn't know she needed it?
It was one of those things where I'm like, you just make observations, you've got a laptop and you're like, God, this thing is so hot, I'll put a blanket under it, but it's still, the heat from the fan still goes through. And so one year I bought her one of those little lap rests for her laptop that she could put on her lap and set the laptop on top of it. And she was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then the very next year she got an iPad. And so I bought her an iPad leather case that also opens up and you can turn it into a stand. because she would hold it and she's like, this thing is so tricky. And so, I got her, it turned into it was a case that turned into a stand. So she's like, this is so great. It was like one of those things, like you don't know you need it until you have it.
See, that's real nice and thoughtful. Me, I'm like, what do you mean this person doesn't need some pro wrestling DVDs? What the fuck am I supposed to get you then?
But this year, I have absolutely no idea. I have asked all of my family members repeatedly, hey, what do you want for Christmas? They're like, I don't know. And so I'm like, well, crap. So I haven't purchased a single present yet. I have no idea what I'm getting anyone. I just bought a ring and medical bills and having my truck towed and rent. So
when did you get the truck towed?
Huh?
When did you get the truck towed?
Oh, that was a while back.
Oh,
that
okay.
was like while I was recovering from my back injury.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah. Like I parked underneath the parking area because my back, I
fuck those assholes.
I wasn't supposed to do a whole lot of walking, and
Right.
so I parked underneath someone's spot, and they had the truck towed when there were 3 spots around me that no one had taken. So I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, so that was $200. I wish I
Fucking
could have back.
assholes.
I know, and they live literally right across from
Knock
me.
on the door and be like, hey, can you move the truck?
Yeah,
Ain't
they
no
could have.
fucking-
I was home. So, but yeah, so I'm having to wait until at least the 15th, which is when I get my next paycheck, to even start shopping. But luckily, my sister and her family are not going to be coming down for Christmas, so we're going to go up there like the second weekend in January. So that gives me time. And they were even like, hey, that'll give you time to do the after Christmas sales and buy stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, at least I have time. I just need to get, a few important people and then worry about it a little bit later on.
Another weird thing about me, like I'm super fucking weird, and like I don't like do like holiday food. Like I don't ever eat Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, I attend Thanksgiving dinner with my family. I don't ever eat it. Same thing with Christmas. Maybe some snacks if they have like cookies or like celery and ranch dip or something like that. But I don't eat like fucking like cooked food or whatever. I'm like the guy who waits until Jack in the Box opens at like 6 o'clock that night, and then I'm like, poor guys. I know I'm not proud of it. I'm supporting that they have to work on that day, but I'm like the guy who's
giving them the reason that they have to be there.
Yeah, that's my
They're like, God, we have to be here.
Like
that one
Thanksgiving
fucking
food.
asshole's coming, and they want that. So like,
And they want their tacos.
yeah, it's my fault. I'm sorry, guys. I'm fucking sorry. Also, Happy Donuts is a lifesaver because they're always open on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And they don't just have donuts. They got those fucking
Kolaches.
They got the
and-
pimp kolaches and the pimp breakfast burritos.
That sounds so
Oh
good.
yeah. Sorry, guys.
Good stuff.
I'm an asshole. I own it. I apologize.
So thank you for the question, Thomas. Certainly appreciate that. Next question coming to us from Seth Rickson, saying, will the WNS podcast crew be giving us a review on the Christmas Grumpy Cat movie? Perhaps you should wait and do a special holiday podcast talking about the Grumpy Cat and Larry the Cable Guy Christmas movies. That would be a Christmas gift that I could not wait to open.
Yes, we are going to review them both. We're actually going to review them both right now because we got preview copies.
Sweet.
And this is just for you, Seth. They're both 10 out of 10s. Go out and run and buy them both right now because we have it on good authority. There's a low production run and they're going to be collector's editions. So your collector's items rather. So Seth, run out and pick those up right fucking now. We're telling you, you can't fucking lose.
Buy in bulk if you have to.
Yes. Buy 2 copies. Buy 1 to keep in the package and 1 to watch on both of these.
Hell yeah.
Hurry up.
No,
Right now. Leave right now. We'll wait.
Buy at least 3 copies. One to watch, 1 to keep sealed, 1 to never see the light of day. That's how pristine it'll be. In what pristine condition.
I like the idea of like Seth buying up all the copies of all of them. Like, you know how they,
like, people were buying this movie. It's good stuff.
You know how they
should
had-
make another one.
you know how they made so many copies of that ET Atari game that they had to bury them?
Oh, yes.
I like that. In my head, like I picture it in Seth's backyard. He's got like all of them buried.
Just a picture of Grumpy Cat. Just so grumpy.
E.T. game, that's horrible. Have you ever seen it?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it.
Oh, I gotta walk over. Oh, I fell in a hole. How did I get out? How did I jump out? Oh, I'm back in the hole again. Best game ever.
So the next question coming to us from Mark saying, hey guys, another great podcast. Chatted with Daniel when you guys were playing the WWE 2K15. Doug made me semi-famous by mentioning that, quote, some dude's been listening for a few years, end quote, on the podcast this week. I'd like to know your thoughts on some of the feuds Sting could be thrown into in his last few matches in his career for the WWE that aren't widely thought of. If Triple H versus Sting match doesn't happen, wouldn't put it past the WWE. Or after that feud is over and WWE wants to push a current WWE star, Sting retires, or before Sting retires. Sting versus Rusev, Sting versus Wyatt, Sting versus Ambrose, Sting versus Rollins, Sting versus Finn Balor. Also, why do you think they didn't go with Sting's original WCW Crow theme music instead of that weird one they made for his debut at Survivor Series? Don't they have licensing rights for the music, or was it lost in the unknown contract negotiation signing, or perhaps some other reason? Thanks, guys. Remember, mustard always equals money.
That's true.
First of all, Mark, it's Mark, right?
Yes.
I apologize. I didn't mean to, that sounds really dismissive of me. Like, I'm like some dude. It's just that whenever.
Some asshole has listened to us.
Yeah. Well, when you were, commenting in the chat for the 2K15, my attention wasn't on you talking. My attention was on beating the shit out of these two guys at 2K15, which is what I was doing. And so I do apologize.
Well, that depends on what match we were on, because I distinctly remember winning at least one match.
Yeah, I won too.
You didn't win against me, ho.
One-on-one, I did not.
But yeah, Mark,
I
I'm sorry. I did not seem to be so informal or so dismissive. I apologize. My attention was divided at the time, so I am sorry, Mark. Thank you, Mark. See, I've said your name enough times now to make up for it, right?
So yeah.
What's the other question?
What were
about
thoughts about
current?
Yeah.
The music thing was stupid. I would assume that they have the rights to that.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but if they do have the rights,
hell, they did it for the 2K15 teaser with the orchestra.
yeah. So
That was very strange. Although I know that they're saying 2K15 and WWE are two separate things.
Sure.
Like when they had Ultimate Warrior talking about it before he was even back in the WWE.
Sure. I assume that they have the rights to the old music. If they do and they made new ones, it's stupid because it would have been more instantly recognized when he was coming out instead of right. So I don't know why. Also, why didn't they have him hold the bat? That was kind of weird too. But
he didn't want to use it on Triple H immediately.
Triple H.
Well, maybe he should. I don't know.
It's just like a nostalgia thing. It's like you see all the parts that make him himself.
And we were thinking, he's walking like that because he's got the bat hidden.
Turns out he's just fucking old.
He's just old.
That's horrible.
Sad
he didn't dye the hair or anything, man.
No,
he should have dyed the hair.
Put some effort in, Steve.
If they would pick
this is your big moment. Pop the crowd.
If the Triple H thing fell through, if there would be a current person he would have a match with, I would say Cena.
I think that's who he wants. If not Taker, if not Triple H.
I think it's in the best interest of the company to get him to put a younger guy over while he's there if he's going to do matches. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to happen. I think they've proven with Brock that Brock's a different case, and even The Rock's a different case. But I think they've proven that these guys aren't necessarily coming back just to put other guys over.
Rock versus Sting.
They're sort of made as attractions. I don't know. What's one guy you would like to see him put over if he's going to put over a young guy?
Maybe Wyatt.
Wyatt sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they can make a program where, although you would think that Ambrose and him would mesh, it hasn't been that great either. But yeah, I would say Wyatt and Sting. Why not?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that, Mark.
Yeah.
Sting and Titus O'Neil.
I'm good for 6 months. I've said his name.
Sting and Titus O'Neil.
O'Neil would break that old man in half with those backbreakers.
And it would cost him millions of dollars. So, final question tonight coming to us from 6-Star Criminal saying, I think the lack of star power in the WWE right now is really hurting them with Reigns, Bryan, Barrett, and Punk out, gone for good in Punk's case. You would think that now would be a perfect time to push guys like Ziggler, Cesaro, and Ambrose towards the main event picture. They're kind of doing it with Ziggler, but to me, it would make a little more sense if they had an upper mid-card main event feuds with guys like that. It would not only fill up the card for pay-per-views, but also when those big guys did come back, it would add a competitive aspect that hasn't been around since 2002. I think the Fed would benefit from having more singles feuds come to a head at pay-per-views rather than just having these guys fight each other in filler matches on Raw and SmackDown.
Sure.
I don't know how much sense that whole tangent made, but hopefully you understand the need for star power nowadays. Been listening on and off since about episode 15, And this is still my go-to wrestling podcast. It will continue to be for as long as you guys do this. I also wanted to ask you a question. What do you guys feel is the match of the year for so far in the WWE? Like I said, love you guys. Keep up the good and fantastic work.
Well, to
Thank you, man.
sort of attack some of what he said, yes, they are starting to push Ziggler now, and Ambrose has been set on the path. He's on the way up.
Yeah.
You can't just transplant him right in the main event. That's not how it works.
Right.
But
Cesaro doesn't get over with the crowd. He can't speak.
yeah.
Maybe he's Swiss. I don't know.
But Ambrose is they've clearly started the ascension of Ambrose. I think he's on his way up.
Speaking of ascension, maybe we'll see the ascension.
Yeah, Cesaro, apparently that guy just sucks. He can't talk, can't connect with the crowd. We're being facetious. That dude's fucking awesome. They're stupid for not pushing him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does feel like the star power is hurting them, but to go all the full circle all the way back to the beginning of the show where we're talking about Punk's interview, where I definitely agree. Like that's part of like why they aren't making new stars is because the old stars aren't
Leaving.
doing the job to the new stars and helping to create them, and they aren't going away. Yeah, so
They'll bring in the part-timers to beat the full-timers, and then full-timers will go, or the part-timers will go away, leaving the full-timers to be like, okay, well, that was fun.
yeah, I mean, like if CM Punk, we're just saying CM Punk because that's who we've been talking about a lot. But if CM Punk has to lose to Lesnar or CM Punk has to lose to The Rock, then and he never like sniffs that feud again. It looks like he doesn't belong with them.
Right. He can't hang. So you got to have guys who can beat these guys.
I'm not saying that because a guy comes back, he can't beat a guy who's there, but ultimately the culmination has to be the young guy who's going to be there, like going over.
Yeah. I mean, Jericho at least will come back and lose a few matches to some of these guys.
Jericho does nothing but lose when he comes back.
Yeah.
And that's, I actually sort of tired of seeing Jericho. He could probably like move on for sure.
Same
like,
with Rob Van Dam.
Sure.
So,
I mean, those guys do, but those guys also work quote unquote full-time schedules when they come back. They may be only there for like a quarter of the year, but they work a regular basis for that quarter of the year.
So, as far as this question, what do you think so far is the match of the year? And there are a few of them that are, pretty good contenders.
Let me see.
I mean, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan Royal Rumble.
That was really good. Lesnar Cena was really good.
Yeah. The
first Lesnar Cena was what I'm referring to.
Evolution.
No. It's the second ultimately, but the first one this year. I'm sorry.
Right. The Evolution and Shield match that they had. I know they had two of them, but
yeah.
Did you say the Wyatts and the Shield? When was that?
I think that was last year, 2013 maybe.
Say that again.
Shield and Wyatts.
Last year.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
the end of last year, but
It was like right there at the end.
it was sort of like September, October-ish.
Yeah, because that was whenever Shield made their face turn,
Sure.
and then they went on to feud against Evolution.
Right.
And those guys tore the house down. I think what was it, Extreme Rules? I think that was.
I want to
probably
say it was Extreme Rules.
the second. That was probably the second one that I
They're really
liked.
chaotic, like
Yeah. I really
six-man like tornado style. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That one was really good.
The one where Rollins came off the balcony or whatever it was.
No, that was the first one.
Okay.
The second one was where he went off the Tron.
Okay.
area.
He went off the rails on a
Yeah.
crazy train.
That's right. That was the 6-man elimination tag match, I think. And that's when Shield did the clean sweep that led to Seth Rollins' heel turn, which was weird.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah. So those are
Balled
some
in.
pretty good contenders.
Sure.
Let's see. There were some in NXT that I would like to put in there as well. Also maybe the
You know what? People are going to think I'm being sarcastic or facetious, but I'm going to throw the Bellas, the first Bellas match of the pay-per-view up there for like Divas match of the year. The one that people like thought I was we were nuts for saying it was good. The one that had the stipulation where she would be the 30 days and
Right.
her
The stupid
personal-
stipulation,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pretty good match.
The match was pretty good. I know some people are really pimping the Charlotte versus Natalia, or was it Charlotte and Natalia?
Charlotte and Natalia.
I didn't see that. Some people are really high on that.
I
but
would put that as far as the
Okay.
Divas match. For a Ring of Honor match, I haven't seen too much Ring of Honor. So the one I would put would be Elgin and Steen at Supercard of Honor.
That was good.
That was a badass match.
If you can deal with, and I feel weird. I don't want to come across as like complicit as like saying it's okay for guys to like knock the shit out of each other with chairs and take stupid bumps.
the
but it-
Cole and Briscoe.
The Cole Briscoe. If you can stomach chair shots to the head and unprotected chair shots and stupid bumps without feeling too icky about it, that match was really good too.
It was good. The only reason I wouldn't,
Too many run-ins.
yeah, too much.
Yeah. That's sort of like
It was too many. It was too cluttered.
yeah. But that's sort of par for the course with those sort of matches though.
Yeah, but Steen and Elgin, Bryan and Wyatt, Royal Rumble,
Sure.
Evolution versus Shield,
I think
Lesnar, Cena.
I think the Bryan Orton Batista match was like well laid out for Mania.
Yeah, but for me, it wasn't one of those. God, you got to go back and watch this. Now Orton and Bryan did have a really good match, but I think that was last year. They've had good chemistry together.
Bryan, if you're a capable wrestler, Bryan will have a good match with you.
Yeah. God, I feel so bad because like there were some really good matches in NXT that I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'm trying to think of the heavily pimped stuff from NXT.
Maybe like that Fatal 4-Way match.
What was the main event to the Arrival, the first big show? I feel like that was super pimped. It was like Neville and
Oh, it was the Fatal 4-Way. It was the four. It was like Neville, Breeze,
Tight.
Kid,
Yeah.
and Zayn.
Yeah, that was definitely one of them. But let's see. I'll look up the card real quick. Let's see. Sorry. Big James. Oh, Cesaro and Sami Zayn. That was definitely
gotcha.
one hell of a match. Let's see. Adrian Neville defeated Bo Dallas for the NXT title. That was a pretty good one. But Cesaro and Sami Zayn, I mean, my
Wasn't that
God.
last year? Wasn't that last year?
No, it was this year. It's
The
2014.
2 out of 3 falls?
Oh, the 2 out of 3. No, the Arrival took place on February 27th.
Oh, okay, that's the rematch.
Daniel's favorite
Yeah.
match is Mojo Rawley versus CJ Parker.
You
He
shut
loves
your mouth.
Mojo Rawley so much.
Shut it.
This isn't WWE, but WWE Live had like this weird like sort of super show over Mania weekend. They had the Evolve, Dragon Gate,
Oh, yeah.
Shine, and or not Shine, excuse me, Shimmer, and FIP people on it. And there's this really stellar like Drew Gulak and Timothy Thatcher.
Oh,
like,
yes.
British rules round match. If you're a guy who needs high spots, this is not the match for
No.
you. But if you can handle
I'm
like
glad you remember that one.
if you can handle like just good psychology and sort of throwback like mat based shit, like they sort of tore it down.
Oh, yeah. I love that match.
Gulak and Biff Busick also had another match on the Evolve show. It was good, but like I think they've had better encounters like earlier in their sort of series of matches. So I wouldn't necessarily go there for those guys. But
Tyler's favorite was Awful Waffle from Kaiju going up against, I forget who.
Awful Waffle didn't go up against anyone.
Oh, yeah, he made a run in or a save or something like that.
No,
Or he was just there.
he came in because the other ref, the good ref, got something happened to him or whatever. And
Yeah.
he came out.
Good stuff. Yeah, so what would y'all say is the best match of the year so far?
I don't know. I don't know if I could say this is
Tell you what.
definitively my favorite match of the
Tell you
year.
what, grab those matches, watch them all together,
Right.
and then just have an awesome night of wrestling. How about that?
Yeah, do that.
There's a super card right there.
Every year I'm like not every year, but every year since we've been doing this podcast, I'm like, I'm gonna pay really close attention and I'm gonna keep up with matches that I think are contenders, and I'm gonna give a list at the end of the year. And I always like end up watching too much to remember any fucking thing because I don't write it down and stuff, and it always ends up being like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
So
Memory sucks anyway.
2015, I'm gonna try to
Keep a notepad on your phone or something.
yeah, I'll try to write stuff down.
Like our moments or something that we have that I was supposed to keep track of. That
Yeah,
we never did. So.
We named like one of those, didn't we?
Yeah. Mollywopped. So there you go. Thanks for the questions. Make sure to submit your
I
questions.
can't believe y'all
on our-
had never heard Mollywop before.
our
The
YouTube
Booker
page
T
of
started
this
saying it
video.
on air after I like sort of
Also, our Facebook page, WNS Podcast. Check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com, WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast. Check us out on Twitch TV.
Yeah,
Twitch,
I'm gonna start doing that soon because I
Definitely.
play it all the time, and then
yeah,
I mean, I'll get on there.
Twitch.tv/WNS Podcast.
I'm still like dug a little bit. I don't understand why people would want to watch me, but sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, just make sure you communicate with the people. Just be like, okay, let's have a tag match. Who do you guys want to see? And stuff like that. It's really cool. Get them involved. That's how I like to run it. So, but I mean, you do your own thing. If you want to just plug your headset in, and you're like, oh, look at that, that's badass. What?
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Do your damn thing. Do your thing. So there you go.
You the man.
No,
If you want to follow us, we're on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
on Twitter at WNS Podcast is where you can find this great show. Great show. Oh my god, it sounds fucking stupid. This awful show. This shit show.
Awful waffle.
We'll post it there. Go follow Daniel at WNS_Daniel. Follow Tyler at Tyler_.
I'm up to 200 followers now. Yay. Hey. It's good stuff. There you go.
I'm Tyler Abear.
For the podcast crew, I'm Daniel Heron.
I already said my name.
I'm Doug, and I'm the teenager of the year this year and every fucking year. Motherfuckers. Motherfucking fuck. Hey, Mark.
We'll catch you all next week.
Bye, Mark.